And many times, particularly in derby games, Alan, have we seen teams just roll up the sleeves and get another 10-15% or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I think that's the very least the Tottenham fans can expect at the weekend, is a completely all-in, spirited performance. And you know, it's like 9 times out of 10 you get a reaction. A team will get a reaction to a new manager. That's obviously what the Tottenham fans can hope for.
Well, I guarantee you now they're not excited about this fella. But let's give him a chance. Here's Chuda speaking for the first time after being appointed.
Of course, I'm coming here knowing that situation is not easy. There's no time to find excuses. What I said from the first day here, each of us, each of players need to give something more, something extra. It's not enough to just be aware of that. I like to be positive. I like to play offensive football. Of course, that's my first goal I have, that I like to score the goal, but in the same way, for sure, need to give organization in defense. Okay, give the clear structure of the what you want to play.
I mean, that's another one. You talk about, obviously, Pereira getting the Forest job, gamble. This is a gamble.
Yeah.
Because,
well, I told you, Tony.
Well, they're in it, aren't they?
My friend Tony sent me his record, and it's
not great. It's not ideal, is it?
It's bad. I'm astonished he's got the job, to be honest.
Well, I know. I mean,
TalkSport Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, supporting van owners to get the job done. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Good afternoon with your sports headlines. I'm Will Hobbs, and a lot of Arsenal fans are telling TalkSport they've already blown the title with 11 games to go, but Simon Jordan still thinks the Gunners will regain their poise, and City, well, they're not a classic City.
And City have come again, they've come stronger, they've come better. But they've this expected steam train of Man City, and we know what they do. And when their engines start, they don't stop. Well, we'll see.
Yeah. Arsenal go to Spurs this Sunday, of course. Man City host Newcastle, who are buoyant after thumping Carabao 6-1. Former coach John Carver recalled the second half of their recent Carabao Cup tie.
If we go there with the same energy, right, that we showed in the second half, and not fear them and not respect them too much, then why can't we go there and get a good result?
Meanwhile, over at Liverpool, Alexander Isak is 6 weeks away from a return to action.
I think he's been on the pitch now, not with his football shoes, but with his running shoes for the first time this week. So that will still take a while as well before he's ready to play for us again.
Liverpool go to the City ground on Sunday. Club legend Mark Crossley is worried Forest are becoming a laughingstock.
4 managers in the season is crazy, but we know what our owner and our chairman's like. There's one thing for sure: if he's not happy, then he does something about it immediately. I feel a bit for Sean, because I thought he was doing okay, to be honest.
Vitor Pereira's first game in charge at Fenerbahce is live on TalkSport 2 tonight, and former British and Irish Lions second row Adam Beard has been dropped for Wales's game with Scotland this week. Head coach Steve Tandy has rung the changes after the pace sting by France. Leicester's Gabriel Hamer-Webb makes his Wales debut on the wing. There's more as ever at TalkSport.com.
TalkSport News.
The King says the law must take its course as his brother Andrew is arrested. Meanwhile, the family of one of his accusers say he was never a prince. More from the news team at past.
TalkSport weather with QuickFit. With expert technicians in all our centres across the country, we'll keep your car's inbuilt safety tech in top condition this winter. Book today at quickfit.com.
Cloudy with rain and sleet easing across central and eastern England. Dry later with brighter spells. Showers moving across Northern Ireland and western Scotland. Windy in the southwest and the north. Feeling chilly.
This is Paul Hawksbee and Perry Groves with you through until 4 here on TalkSport, where this afternoon we'll get all the fallout from Wolves Arsenal last night, and we're also keen to hear from Wolves fans, especially those that still aren't having Rob Edwards. We'll talk Newcastle with the Wellermen's Johnny Stewart after the Toons thumping away win in Europe, plus Perry's take on playing the Anthony Gordon winger come striker role as he did for a spell at Arsenal. Boxer Lee Selby previews Warrington Wood 2. Our resident Forest fan Max Scott on Tonight in Turkey and Edu's future. And personal chef to football's finest, Johnny Marsh, gives us his verdict on Perry's 90s era diet. There's all this, plus Tim Vickery with the latest from South America. The Gateshead manager Rob Elliott preparing for the longest journey in English football. And can Perry put a stop to my 8 in a row in today's birthday spread? 7 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Perry. And you and the producer and the assistant producer all thinking of pulling a sickie today after last night, I understand.
Yeah,
you've manned up. You're here.
Yeah, I had that 24-hour virus I thought was coming on round about just as Edozie got the equaliser for Wolves.
Yeah.
I thought, I don't feel very well. Could feel it coming on, and then you think,
could you see it coming? Were you fearing the worst as it unfolded?
It was a strange thing when Edozie come on. Obviously, makes his debut. You know, in the back of your mind, you're just thinking, "Oh, don't be one of those ones that you're going to come on and have a massive impact in the game."
Yeah,
and that would be the highlight of your career. Hopefully, it goes on obviously to bigger and better things. But it's hard when you're a goon. It's in your blood. It's hard not to get the sort of a bit of angst and anxiety when you're watching. You're probably exactly the same with Spurs.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly the same. When you're neutral, you can watch it. You think, oh, Arsenal gone 1-0 up. That's it. The game's done and dusted after 5 minutes. And then when I'm watching it, I'm thinking, yeah, we're in control, but we haven't seized control. We haven't gone for the jugular. And that's the only thing. I'm fine with it. I know there's been a lot of gooners who their heads have been exploded and they're saying, "Oh, Tete should be going." I'm one of those ones. It's everybody's just calm down. In elite sport, you don't get given anything. It's not easy, and especially in the Premier League. Sometimes you can play teams at the wrong time. If we'd have played Wolves 2.5-3 months ago, that would have been a walkover. But under Rob Edwards, they have improved dramatically. They are playing with pride now, which they didn't before.
Yeah.
So when you go there, top 3 bottom, you should turn them over. And then obviously when you go 2-0 up, that's the time again to be more positive and go up a level. But we didn't. We actually dropped off. And even when we were 2-0 up and then we dropped off and we weren't closing down, we weren't having that intensity, it reminded me of the Man United game when we got back to 2-2. And then we dropped off, and I was screaming at the TV to go out and close down Cunha. Whether it's Gabriel, get to him.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to Juego Bueno, you can see that he's got so much time that Hincapié doesn't actually. All you got to do is sprint towards him.
Yeah.
To make him make a quicker decision. Do you know what I mean?
Because he can get it out of his feet.
Get out of his feet. Had a look.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a brilliant goal. Don't get me wrong. It's a brilliantly goal technically. Yeah. But it's then there's going to be. Obviously, quite rightly, then the question marks will come in. Have Arsenal got the mentality? They've been there before.
Well, the thing that happened, that breakdown in communication between Gabriel and Raya, does that happen when they're on it completely? Is that a sort of byproduct of the fact that they're very tense, they're playing tense?
Yeah.
They do something like
Because normally, 2 things happen. Either David Raya, you go, right, Gabriel's got this under control, he heads it. Then you don't know if he's had the shout, but it looks like it. And then at the last minute, Gabriel sort of pulls his head away, ducks.
He's obviously got a shout, but it's too late.
It's too late by then. But then you just think, no, I'm just going to hit it, and then you have your row afterwards. And then when Edozie has his shot, then you're looking. It looks like Calafiori might get it. It comes off his knees, goes off the post,
the
goes
margins,
in.
really, isn't it?
It is the fine.
We would have been sitting here saying, I could have been a near miss of Calafiori and taking it off the line. Who knows?
Yeah, they are fine margins, and there's a lot of those. In the season, you have sliding doors moments. But what it has to be now is this group of players have to trust each other.
Yeah.
Forget all the noise. There's going to be noise, and they're going to be on watching their Instagram, watching their the TikToks and the X and whatever. But they have got to look around each other and actually trust each other to get themselves through difficult times. And if you look at the bigger picture, which you try and do, because you might win after the game, you could tell Arteta. Paul Mercy's my best mate, but he was quite critical of Arteta's interview afterwards. He's a bit, but it's difficult because if he comes on and he goes, "Yeah, we're all right, we're 5 points clear, it's not a problem," then people say, "Well, mate, you're being a bit delusional because your team haven't played very well." And what he said was, we haven't reached the standards as what I expect and what
That's what Saka said. We said we got to get back to our levels.
How we were, exactly, yeah. And they have to get back to the levels of when they're in front, they go for it even more. When they're behind, they believe in themselves. And I go back to the Bayern Munich game when we 1-0 down, and the second half, we completely overrun them. The Aston Villa game at home, where it weren't great in the first half, and we overrun them in the second half. Even Villa away, where it went to 1-1 and we was on top, and we went to try and win the game, and we went positive. I think Arsenal fans are probably, I'd rather lose the game trying to go out and win it and be positive than trying to hang on. And what we've done in the last couple of games, we've just tried to be controlled. And I think maybe Arteta's just got to release them a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And we talk about Newcastle later on against Karabakh. Just go, right, we've got better players than you, so we're going to turn this into, like, even if it's you attack, we attack, you attack, but we've got better players.
Be prepared to win like 5-3.
Exactly, yeah.
2-0.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, and
you're right. In a game, in a basketball match, Arsenal got better player than Wolves. They've got better players than Wolves, even at Wolves' place, and this is them 2-0 down. Nothing really to play for. Few of the crowd getting on the team's back because they're witnessing yet another defeat. Yet they still had the time to be able to turn it round.
Yeah, it's doing what Arteta's installed in this group of players is everybody has to work and everybody has to be like at their full capacity with the intensity levels. Yeah. And they didn't. They dropped. When it went 2-0, they dropped. I mean, when you're looking at it and you think, oh, is it going to be offside? And then you can see with the naked eye that it's onside in Capio's goal. Then you think, right, get through the next, basically in game, get through the next 10 minutes. Just get through the next 10 minutes, be 2-0, then you kill the crowd and you just take away the hope. But by just sitting off and going a little bit passive, then you give Wolves that little leg up and then the momentum changes. There was a couple of decisions like where Urin Timber looked like he was running on like quicksand and he gave the ball away a couple of times and you thought, right, just get Ben White on, just get fresh legs on. Martinelli had like a game where he was running up blind alleys or giving the ball away. So I couldn't understand, obviously, taking Saka off, maybe he got a slight knock. But Martinelli stand on, I'd have taken Martinelli off a little bit quicker to put Trossard on. And he gives you a bit of control because he takes balls in tight situations. But the bigger picture, which you have to look at, right, is it's one defeat in 20. And unbeaten in 7. But the worry is, and it's a worry, it's not like a head's gone and my head's exploding, is last season we drew too many games, drew 14. Now we've drawn 7.
Yeah.
That's got to be put out completely out the window. And the leadership comes now from the players who've got to take responsibility, but Mikel Arteta, he's got to be the most positive person in that training ground and in that dressing room. He's got to walk in and he's got to say, don't know what to fuss about, boys. Weren't a great performance. We've just dropped levels, but I know the levels you can get to and I trust you and I know that you can do it.
Is it good? In front, we're going to have a chat with Harry Symeou short. We're going to hear some of the meltdowns on the sports bar straight after the game last night, but Harry's going to join us for a chat. Do you think it's helped you going into the derby at the weekend or not? Simply because
more pressure.
They're going to be looking to bounce back, or are you feeling more nervous about the derby?
It's more pressure. And if anybody in it is saying it isn't, because if you go into the derby and you're 7 points clear, I know obviously Man City play on the on Saturday night.
And Newcastle away is not easy.
Newcastle just won their last 3 away from.
Yeah.
They've got their legs back.
Right.
If you're going and Man City win and you're 4 points clear, there's a little bit less pressure. You go in and Man City win and you're 2 points clear, then there is like big pressure. This is in my opinion, this is the biggest North London derby, or at least one of them, since we played you in the first ever FA Cup final at Wembley. And that didn't end great for us, to be fair.
The first ever semi-final.
Semi-final,
yeah,
sorry.
I was there. That's right. Is Gascoigne going to have a crack?
Yeah, and he smashes it.
It's certainly, the last big one probably would have been the sort of 21-22 season, wasn't it, that Tottenham fans like to remember as they've still got to go to Norwich game where Spurs won 3-0, the year they made all or nothing. That was a big game because we were both vying for Championship
positions.
Blimey, how things changed. Tottenham have got a new manager trying to keep them up now. Anyway, that was Perry's take on it. Interested to hear your take on it, Arsenal fans. And as I said, interested to hear from a Wolves fan as well. I saw Rob Edwards mention he would have liked a little bit more from the fans at 2-0 down. A bit of being realistic, really. They were playing the top team in the country and to come away with a 2-2 draw was pretty special. He felt maybe at 2-0 down there could have been a bit more understanding, but he does appreciate that a lot of Wolves fans have really been put through the ringer. But anyway, interesting to hear from you. 03717 223344, talksport.com, text to 81089, tweet to TSH and J. We will hear some of the meltdowns of the Arsenal. Bringing Klopp was one of the things somebody said in the sports bar last night. It's like, poor old Klopp, he doesn't want a job. He's got a job.
Do you know what the thing is? You know, when I said mayhem football, I didn't really mean it.
No.
I didn't, right? Someone who goes, right, yeah. But in the situations with Klopp, that's how Liverpool played.
Yeah.
It was like, we're just going to take it. Yeah. That was mayhem football, and it worked for him. But we need to settle down. We don't need any more mayhem or carnage at the minute. We need just to have a couple of ice baths.
Harry Symeou, the broadcaster and Arsenal fan, joining us in a few moments. Tommy, I'm going to talk Newcastle this hour. Lee Selby's joining us. He fought Josh Warrington for a title, of course, back in the day. So he'll give us his take on Warrington Wood 2 this weekend and other matters besides. And we'll talk a bit of rugby league. We're going to hear from the Gateshead manager, former Newcastle keeper Rob Elliott, taking on the longest journey in domestic football, as far as we know. Forest in action tonight under their new manager, Max Scott, our resident Forest fan, joining us for a chat. And lots more besides, including a birthday spread. We're here with our friends at Tool Station. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Tool Station.
Alex, let's finish with a player we know from his time here at Chelsea, who's been more recently ploughing his trade in Germany. Reports in Germany suggest Nicholas Jackson is expected to return to Chelsea this summer because he hasn't played enough games for Bayern Munich to trigger the obligation to buy clause in his loan agreement. What more have you got in this?
Yeah, do you know what? When this deal was done, everybody said what a great piece of business it was for Chelsea because the buy option was £56 million. I never saw a scenario where Bayern Munich were going to take that up because he's just not a £60 million player, is he? Nicholas Jackson. He's got 5 goals in 22 games. They don't want to keep him. He's going to be coming back to Stamford Bridge. But I don't see a scenario where he's reintegrated into the Chelsea first team. I think they will look to sell him in the summer, but probably will have to accept a much reduced fee. And it was always going to be difficult for him to go to a club like Bayern and force his way past one Harry Kane. So these loan deals with options, some of them are not really worth the paper they're written on. I've got the option to apply for a place in the Mr. Universe contest. I'm not going to do that either.
I think you're on the way.
I like that. Danny, when it comes down to it, you've got Nicholas Jackson or you've got Liam Delap. Who do you play?
Well, at the moment, with Delap's form, although I like him, Jackson in his first Chelsea season has done better than Delap has done. He's more of a goal threat.
Yeah.
Process is over, title race is over, it's finished, it's over.
We played as if we had 9 players, no creation, no imagination, no flair, no link-up. against Wolves?
Well, if you can't do it on a Wednesday night in February with sleet and snow, gents, then you don't deserve it.
He's not the guy to get us through. He's not the guy. The last 7 games in the Premier League, we've won 2 of them. He hasn't got the material. He's not got the nutrients. Minerals.
I just don't think Arteta has it anymore. We've bottled the league. He keeps going, trust the process. There is no process to trust.
If you could get someone in, like a Klopp or something, who could take us to the finish line, because we're in such a good position.
In 2022-23 season, we were 8 points clear in January and bottled it. Oh, look, deja vu. It's happening again.
Arsenal are red, City are blue. When the league's in their hands, they don't know what to do.
Well, they haven't got the nutrients was a new one on me. Bring minerals, bring Klopp in. Like football works like that. So that was some of the fallout in the sports bar last night. I saw a couple of tweets from our next guest. And everybody, I think he's probably taken a deep breath, much like Perry has, since the final whistle went. And we do hope Mosquera's all right. So really, your chest bone is connected to your face bone, isn't it, really? Because push someone in the chest and you
hold your face. That you should be back. They should have a panel, on the day after or
I agree
Monday,
with you,
where you go, if you're simulating, you get suspended for 3 games. That's it.
Yeah.
And it will stop all that. And Mosquera, I must admit, he was their cucurella because he was getting right on my nose when you're watching the game. He's long throw. Mate, that's not a long throw. If it doesn't get the 6-yard box, that doesn't count. It's not a long throw.
Sound a bit bitter now, Perry. Let's have a word with Harry Symeou, broadcaster, podcaster, journalist, and, of course, Arsenal fan. Good afternoon, Harry.
How you doing, guys? You all right?
All right, Perry's quite zen about it, unlike quite a lot of our production team who think it's gone. How are you feeling about it now in the cold light of day?
I always find that when me and Perry talk, Perry's always more chilled and calm than me. So I'm not surprised that he's going to be a little bit calmer than me today because I'm struggling with this one. I got to be honest. And it's not necessarily just to do with last night. I've felt for the last couple of months in the Premier League that Arsenal haven't quite been at it, that there's been that lack of spark and lack of creativity that we keep going back to under Mikel Arteta. And I know that, generally speaking, he's done a wonderful job and the team's in a much better place. But I feel like we keep having the same conversations and we keep going around in circles. And maybe I'm looking at it a little bit differently to others, but my gripe is not really with the Arsenal backline, which is a bit strange when you consider we were 2-0 up and we've ended up drawing the game 2-2, particularly with that equalising goal coming the way it did. My gripe is with the team at the other end of the pitch. And I've had this issue for most of the season. I feel like we went out in the summer and we were tasked with adding to the squad, building the squad. And we went out and we spent a lot of money on 3 attacking players. And it's not about any one of them as an individual. It's about the fact that for me, as a collective, our attack is not any better. And what we've managed to do by adding that depth is make sure that the base level is consistent in that when you have to rotate, when someone's out injured, we can still maintain a certain level. But have we raised the bar at the top end of the pitch? I'm not sure that we have. And that worries me because I think ultimately a game like last night, you can talk about the defensive errors. You can talk about maybe an overconfidence if you want, an arrogance if you want to put it that way. But for me, it was our inability to kill Wolves off that's cost us. And that is something that I'm really struggling to process today, I've got to say.
Do you think, H, that comes, you were talking about the players individually, or we've talked about it before that Arteta wants to control every aspect of everything in the playing side, which is fine, but he just has to just release the players a little bit. And I know you're saying about, the levels haven't gone up, but if you think Wanyere's gone off on loan, which I don't think he should have let him go because he needed the bodies, but everybody said that Eze was an upgrade on Wanyeri, and the bench that we had last season was nowhere near as strong as what he got this season. Everybody said it's the strongest squad in the Premier League. So is it a bit of, right, just in the final third, I've just got to give you that license to have that little bit more imagination and go and express yourself?
Yeah, it is probably to do with that, and I don't want it to sound like I'm only looking at the players. Ultimately, Mikel Arteta is responsible for them performing, for them getting results, and we can all agree, I think, that going forward, Arsenal aren't as good as the names on paper probably suggest that they should be. So there is an element of that, absolutely. But I also think, Perry, and you've played the game at a level that I can only dream of having ever played, but as a player, sometimes don't you just break out of the mould? Don't you just go, you know what? This is what I think is right in that moment and at that time, and go and make something happen.
Have you ever met George Graham? You're having a laugh, break it out of the mould. No chance. If you did anything that he didn't want you to do, you'd be done. But
So it leads us on to something interesting. Let's just talk about this briefly because you won the title. You were being chased down by Liverpool in '89, and they made up a lot of ground, and it was very nervy. Maybe we had the caller there saying he hasn't got the minerals to do it. He's coming up short. A lot of people there on the sports bar were getting stuck into Arteta. But you had a manager who had been there and done it. He'd won the double, he'd won the title under Bertie Mee, so he kind of knew. And you said George Graham absolutely played a blinder in your running, despite the fact that Liverpool were really breathing down your neck.
His leadership was the best that I've ever seen. Honestly, tactically, George Graham was brilliant. We played 3 centre-halves at Anfield and everybody thought, what are you doing? Because we didn't want to concede in the first half. Yeah. You ain't going to beat him by 3. But his leadership, his aura and his presence. Liverpool beat West Ham 5-1 on the Tuesday night, and we'd lost against Derby 2-1 at home and drawn against Wimbledon 2-2 at home. And we had 10 days between our last game until the game on the Friday. And he just released us a little bit. Instead of being all really intense and our pressing, which was, by the way, pressing hasn't just been invented. Yeah. Liverpool were doing that back in the 80s and 90s, and so were we. So he just eased it off, and we played a few 5-a-sides and made it a bit more fun. And then when we got to that week, it was on the Wednesday he come in and he went, great result last night, lads, and Liverpool beat West Ham 5-1.
Yeah.
And we were looking at it going, what do you mean great result? We said, really fancy our chances now. We're going to go up to Anfield. They think they're going to win the double. They think it's done and dusted. We are going to go up there and we're going to win the title. And I believe in you. This is how we're going to play. I have no doubts in my mind whatsoever that you can actually implement what I'm asking you to do, because I trust you as a group of players. And we all walked away probably like a little bit half-inch or like inch taller.
Yeah.
But I was talking to Merce, and Merce was like, is he on? I'm on a what? Is he like seen the same games? Liverpool were on this 21-game unbeaten streak. Yeah. Nobody beat him 2-0 at Anfield. But it was his demeanour and the way that he carried himself, and we all bought in to him. So if we had any little doubts, because we'd never won it before as a group of players, we'd never been in that position. Liverpool were the best team, even though we weren't in Europe. They were the best team in Europe at that time. So we all bought into his belief. And that's now with Arteta. And I'm not doubting him at all, because we're only relevant because of Arteta, because we were stinking the place out before he got there. But now everybody talks about leadership and, leadership group in players, which they've got to take responsibility. But it comes now mainly from Mikel Arteta, what he radiates to the players is say, I have no doubts. No doubts, because the players in any team sport, you look at your manager, or if it's head coach or wherever it is, and you look at them for direction, because that's what they're there for.
Yeah.
So this is now a time which I have no doubts that Arteta, then he knows he's got to stand up and he's got to radiate that positivity, and the players will buy into it.
As we said, Harry, in the fallout from last night, a lot of the sports bar listeners, Arsenal fans, getting stuck into Arteta and saying he's not up to it. I mean, he's been there as an assistant coach with Pep in these situations, but not as the man in charge. Is this a fear for you going into this run-in?
Not necessarily, because I think everybody that goes on to achieve lots in their careers has to do it the first time, don't they? So this idea that, we should write him off because he's not been there, done it as a head coach or as a manager, I think is a little bit unfair. My doubts that I now have about whether or not Arsenal can go on and win the Premier League don't just fall at Mikel Arteta's door. Obviously, he's a part of it. Because he's the manager and he's ultimately responsible for the performances and stuff. But it's a culmination of things for me, and things that have sort of gone from the back of my mind to the forefront of my mind and then back again over and over again over the last couple of years. Things that I keep seeing, like the stuff I've mentioned.
Yeah.
Just that lack of spark sometimes. Again, like if it come to the end of the season and we didn't win the Premier League, I know, Gabriel and David Raya made a bit of a mess of that equalising goal. You can look at the late equaliser at Sunderland and say something similar, but I won't be pointing the finger at that end of the pitch. I actually think that it's our inability to kill people off that is the biggest concern and worry for me. And I hear a lot of people giving Mikel Arteta stick, saying that, he's got the handbrake on and all of that. When I watch him from the press box just behind him, he's constantly asking for the team to squeeze up, for the team to put people under pressure, for the team to keep going. He doesn't allow that intensity level to drop off, at least as far as what he wants. So this idea that he's gone last night oh, we're 2-0 up, game over, all sit back and don't bother, lads, it's fine. It's a complete nonsense. It's a complete nonsense.
Players drop. We've got to be quick, Perry, we're out of time. But players, I mean, you see it in a lot of, you see managers trying to get players up the pitch. Is it inherent in players in that situation to say, well, we'll drop a couple of yards, that? Do you do that?
Yeah, I think if you see nearly in every team that happens, doesn't it? Where you hang on to what you've got. But what you have to do is you have to go against that sort of primeval instinct where you drop back, you say no. And I agree with H. There's times that I've seen with us where I'm screaming we've got to be 10, 15 yards further up the pitch to try and go and condense it. But it'd be interesting, I couldn't ask H there, this North London derby on Sunday is it's go up to a different level because a draw's a good. Draw
will be a great result for Tottenham.
It'll be like a devastation for us.
Yeah,
be interesting to see how the Arsenal fans' mindsets, all the negativity that's going out there, because Arsenal fans have a part to play as well.
Sure,
whether it's away from home at Rome, because there has to be a positivity with everybody, especially at the Emirates, because when there's negativity and anxiety from the fans, trust me, it seeps to the players.
Yeah,
any player that tells you it doesn't.
I mean, it'll be a far more raucous atmosphere among the Spurs fans for this game. I mean, the best thing Arsenal can do, and I'm loath to say it, is to score early and suck a bit of energy out of the stadium, because they're going to be right behind the new manager. That, if it's still Thomas Frank was still there,
it'd be toxic. If you go 1-0 down and Thomas Frank's manager, it's done.
But I mean, an early goal could take some of the wind out of the fans' sails. So that's it. That feeds into what you say, Perry. They're going to have to be brave. On the wing. Harry, we've run out of time, sadly, but we will catch up with you soon. All the best. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Harry Symeou there, broadcaster and podcaster and big Arsenal fan. We're going to talk about Newcastle next. And by the way, if you've not had enough of Arsenal trying their best to throw the league title away, I think our producer has written this.
Calm down.
Has written this. I didn't write this. This is written by an Arsenal fan.
The Arsenal producer.
Then you can catch up on all of the fallout from last night's action with Adrian Durham and Stuart Pearce in the latest episode of the TalkSport Daily Podcast, available on all podcast platforms and the TalkSport app right now.
I don't enjoy all what goes on. Of course I don't. Who does? I don't want to see none of that. I don't like all the ranting and raving. John's obviously got a problem, him and Carl Frock, I don't know, with the two of them, and it is what it is. But it's nothing to do with me. And I've got to be honest, I have no regard for it. It's irrelevant to me. All I care about is what Tyson's doing and the fight. The rest of it's a sideshow.
You say that, Frank, but you are the promoter.
I'm not the promoter.
You're Tyson's promoter.
I'm Tyson's promoter, but I'm not the promoter of the event. It's a ring event. It's on, I have an exclusive contract with DAZN. This fight's on, as you well know, it's on Netflix.
But if you're uncomfortable with it, Frank, might you not have a word with Tyson?
I don't understand. Sorry, but I'm not responsible for what people do or in their family members are in or are with them or whether that's down to them. It's nothing that I'm not responsible, nor would I take the responsibility for that. It's no different if one of your relations starts ranting and raving and screaming and shouting. It's not down to you.
If it were an event that you were a promoter of note on, say, for example, you make the fight between the winner of Dubois versus Wardley.
So, how's Mikel Arteta feeling after a huge slip-up in the title race?
Very disappointed, very frustrated. You can sense that. So now is not the moment to talk because we are all too sensitive about it.
Arsenal blew a 2-goal lead to draw at Wolves And the boss is not the only one feeling sensitive.
I think he's taking the Arsenal as far as they can go. We've got a dog called Win at the training ground. What we need to do is buy 2 gerbils and call one game and one management.
Arsenal are still 5 points clear, but Man City have a game in hand and home advantage when the sides meet in April, and there are 12 games to go. Now, Michael van Gerwen's had to pull out of his Premier League darts quarter-final in Glasgow tonight. That's due to illness. It means Luke Littler gets a bye, and he'll face either Johnny Clayton or Gowan Price in the semi. Now, good news for the UK's flagging hospitality industry. Pubs can stay open until 2 a.m. during the World Cup knockout stages if any of the home nations get there. And you'd never catch anyone at TalkSport broadcasting under the influence, but Australian sports reporter Danica Mason has apologised for having a few before going on air at the Winter Olympics in Milan.
It's more the price of coffee in the US that we are going to have to get used to. I'm not sure about the iguanas. Where are we going with that one? But anyway.
Mason says she misjudged the situation, also blaming altitude, cold weather and not eating dinner. More at TalkSport.com.
What a win for Newcastle United. A 6-1 victory on the road, equaling their biggest ever European win. The first time they've ever scored half a dozen goals in continental football. And Anthony Gordon scoring 4 of them in the first half, 2 from the spot. Only the second player ever in Champions League history to score 4 goals before half-time in a game.
Yeah, fantastic performance and victory for Newcastle. Home and hosed. That means they can... I mean, they've had a long journey. You don't need these extra 2 games with everything going on. They're still in the FA Cup and stuff. But that means they can make some changes at their place for the second leg, which will really help Eddie Howe. And you were saying earlier on you were impressed how brave they were now that they basically said, OK, let's go toe-to-toe with them because we're better than them. But Anthony Gordon, you've played that role... and people may not know this. They know you as a winger, probably, but you had a little spell as the sort of frontman partner of Alan Smith, didn't you, up front for us?
Well, I actually saved Alan Smith's career. Because he hadn't scored for the first 3 games, and they put me up front with Smudge. Charlie Nicholas.
Charlie, right.
And Charlie didn't suit the way that George Graham wanted to play. Yeah. Charlie was brilliantly technically gifted, you know what I mean, getting the ball into feet, turning, whatever, but he wasn't a player that wanted to go and press and, you know, close the fullbacks down or whatever. So I don't know where the gaffer got it from, but he thought, I'll put you up front. I can't hit a cow's backside of banjo. Finishing was not my thing. I was a winger. You go down the line, cross it, someone else scores. But the reason he put me up front was because he wanted to press, and I was really quick, probably the quickest player at the club. And he knew that I would do exactly what he wanted me to do off the ball, which was go and press the fullbacks. So fullbacks inside, go and press the centre halves, get the balls in the channel. That was it. That was my instructions.
Yeah.
So I get the fact, obviously, I'm not on Anthony Gordon's level on the finishing side or whatever, but I got the fact, and it's brilliant coaching from Eddie Howe, because I don't think any Newcastle fans would have thought that Votamade in the 10 and Anthony Gordon up front in a 4-2-3-1 was going to be the formation that's going to turn their season around, especially away from home. And football's very simple sometimes, and obviously he sat down with his coaching staff and he thought, do you know what? Anthony Gordon is lightning quick. He'll set the press off, because when Votamade was playing up front, and I saw him at Brentford and Wolves, they drew 0 against Wolves away, lost 3-1 at Brentford. Newcastle lost their energy and lost their legs because Votamade was playing up front and he's not quick enough to go and set the press off. That's not what he does. So switching them around, I think, has been like a genius move from Eddie Howe. And obviously the goals, getting the 4 goals is a massive bonus.
Yeah.
But I love the way as well that I spoke earlier about, he just looked at Karabag, and to be fair, they've drawn against Chelsea, beat Benfica, beat Eintracht Frankfurt, and he looked at them and thought, man for man, we got better players than you. We got miles better players. So I'm going to risk high energy, playing high up the pitch, going to close you down because you're not used to playing at that intensity of Premier League. And you notice it was like skirmish football, wasn't it? Like Newcastle's closing down was brilliant, and it was very well with the choreography of it.
Yeah.
But the Karabag, you could tell they were completely in their heads. They're completely gone. They kept giving the ball away, didn't they? Trying to play it from the back. So I just thought it was brilliant coaching from Eddie Howe. Brilliant coaching.
There was a little flare up, wasn't there? Because Anthony Gordon wanted to take the second pen, and one or two of the players, including Kieran Trippier, seemed to have a problem with it. But what do you make of that and claiming the ball for
brilliant?
The second one?
Do one. I'm the penalty taker, and
I mean, Kieran Trippier can take a penalty, and there are other penalty takers in the team. But I mean, when a player's confident, they're playing like that. Why wouldn't they take the ball and get on with it?
We're talking about players taking responsibility and showing leadership quality. I know it's easy when you've got a hat trick and you're taking like the second penalty to get your 4th goal, but it's like, no, I'm taking this. And the thing that I thought was amazing was, all right, so you've had your little spat and Gordon's told you where to go. He scores. Kieran Trippier should then be laughing about it. It should be, oh, look at him, he's only done what he said he was going to do. He still had afterwards, he still had the ump. He's just saying, oh, I can't believe he's taking that. And I think Dan Burton had to calm himself down. We're 6-1 up here. Just like, 5-1 up. Take a chill pill. Just calm yourself. So I thought it was brilliant from Anthony Gordon because his level had dropped off for a period of time when he was playing in the wide position in the 4-3-3.
Yeah.
And he wasn't putting the effort, and Harvey Barnes on the other side wasn't putting the effort that Newcastle normally do. Now, if you look like away from home where they've turned it around, they've won their last 3 games. And that is all from brilliant coaching from Eddie Howe to change it in 4-2-3-1, change obviously the positions of the players, but the players actually buying into him.
Yeah.
Because there was a little bit of rumours saying, oh, maybe the players, Eddie Howe's been there too long and don't listen to him. Trust me, those players are listening to him.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It was a brilliant performance. And we're going to have a chat with Johnny from the band The Wellermen a little bit later on, who's a big Newcastle fan. Despite not being a Geordie, I always love those weird and wonderful stories of how people become big supporters
what's your journey?
of a football club.
What's your journey in musical? Not that. What's your journey in your football fan?
Well, he's not from that part of the world, so it's quite an interesting way of becoming a fan of a club. So he'll be joining us for a chat later on. Just very quickly, going back to our Arsenal chat and the fallout and the amount of sports bar.
I thought I got away with it.
We're going to talk boxing with Lee Selby, but just a quick minute on this. They're all having a pop at Arteta. A lot of the Arsenal fans last night saying he's not up to
it. Go and wobble your head.
This year, he has had a lot of support from upstairs. And I take on board what Harry said. He felt like the reinforcements maybe weren't as good. But on paper, getting Yorker and players like that, Madueke, you'd say that is giving real quality depth to the squad, whatever has happened since. So he's had all that support in Capier. He's had support all over the pitch to strengthen that side and have really the deepest and best squad in the Premier League. If he comes up short again, how many more times can he go? How much trust will there be? And do you think there could be issues with him as the manager? I'm not trying to make something out of nothing. I'm just interested to know what you think.
Yeah, no, I think he deserves the backing and again in next season.
Right.
Because the reason being is, as I said before, and we're going to talk about Nottingham Forest later on with Edu, whatever. Yeah. Edu jumped on the back of Arteta with, oh no, the culture change. Arteta changed the culture. Yeah. He's the main, obviously taken stock of Pep Guardiola and what he was like as a manager. No big time Charlies, got rid of them all.
Yeah.
I'm a gooner, like, as you know, in my blood. I want to see a team that runs around and gives a rat's backside about the club. That's what I've got. Now, the next step is going to win the big ones with the Premier League or the Champions League.
Sure.
And once you've won the first one, then the other ones sort of can fall into place if you keep that hunger. But everybody knows the first one is the hardest one to win because then you get a know-how. At the moment, this group of players haven't got the know-how. The only advantage I'll say Man City had, this isn't the Man City of old. This isn't a Man City that can steamroll the teams, and go on a 10-game winning run because they're still vulnerable. But they've still got 5 or 6 players in that squad that have won the Premier League before.
Yeah.
So they won't feel the pressure because they've already won it. You feel more pressure when you haven't won something.
Sure.
And that's just normal, like, human emotions. And what these players have got to do is They got to believe, number one, in themselves, and then believe in Mikel Arteta, what he's asking them to do. And it can all change around one game on Sunday. There might be a big moment in that game, or, a sliding doors moment, which then all of a sudden it turns you around, and then all of a sudden the Arsenal fans start believing again. I'm looking at this. We are actually 5 points clear. I know it'll be 2 points if Man City beat Newcastle, but it's still in our own hands.
Sure, yeah.
The destiny of the whole season is still in our own hands, and you're in 4 competitions.
Not if City win all their games, including the one against you, if they win against Newcastle.
Yeah, but it's still in our own hands, though, because we go to Man City, don't we?
Yeah.
So it's in our...
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's still in our... Every God always in Man City's hands. You go, well, it is in our hands as well. Do you know what I mean? Which it always has been.
Brilliant. Well, look, we're going to keep talking all the big stories of the day. More Newcastle chat and the reflection on that performance in Baku. The TalkSport YouTube channel for Newcastle. The latest episode is this evening, Inside the Tomb, with Ollie Klink, Sean Custis and Jack Cunningham. It's available to listen to anywhere where you get your podcasts. So we're going to talk to Lee Selby next, a man who's been in with Josh Warrington, and he fights Lee Wood at the weekend. We'll get his thoughts on that. His move into bare knuckle and lots more besides. We're here with Tool Station. Pick up your wet weather essentials today. Next stop, Tool Station.
Gabriel Jesus got frustrated at the end, pushed the player. Even our coaches, set piece coach, losing it a little bit because we know that right now it's on the line. Yes. And we need, normally I'm Mr. Calm, I'm Mr. Keep It Easy, batting here and there, but no, it's time.
Well, Mikel now, is this where, before kick-off 5 minutes, he locks the door. He says, don't you dare let yourselves down. Look around you. Player for player, we're different class to Tottenham. Do not blow it now. Get out there, concentrate, win your 50-50s and get our game going. Then we beat this mob. If the attitude is not 100%, you're in for a shock. Do not let me down. Don't let your mate next to you down. He's got to do that. This is a big game.
If he doesn't do that, I'll be surprised. I'll be disappointed, heartbroken and shocked. We need the boys to galvanise together, man. This is the time. Because, honestly, I can't have this man on my right-hand side here, Gabby, at the end of the season, singing second again, ole, ole.
Say if you do finish second, what happens if the dog win? Does the dog stay?
Listen, mate.
Does the dog go? Does the dog have more game time on the training pitch?
This is nothing to do with the dog. Leave win alone. The dog win at Arsenal training ground, for those of you who don't know. Everything we have at the training ground gears us up to win. But it doesn't matter how much writing we have. It doesn't matter how many, training sessions we have with scenarios.
Yeah.
This is where it counts,
I agree.
man.
Leave the dog alone. Get a cat and call it Almost.
Yeah.
Almost. You look at last...
Paul Hawksbee, Perry Groves here on TalkSport. Going to turn to boxing now because big fight this weekend. Warrington Wood 2. Josh Warrington takes on Lee Wood. Leeds versus Forest, it often gets billed as. Our next guest has been in with Josh in a pretty brutal fight back in the day. He's now moved into the world of bare knuckle, or he's about to. It's Lee Selby. Good afternoon, Lee.
Good afternoon.
Lee. Let's talk about. It's been a long time in the offing, this fight with Josh and Lee. Your fight. You got cut very early in your fight with Josh. You had a couple of bad cuts, clashes of heads, didn't you? And it affected the fight from your point of view. And unfortunately, from your point of view, you lost the title fight. So, what are your memories of that and being in with Josh?
So, my memories of the fight. Well, first of all, just walking into the ring, I was expecting it to be a lot more hostile. But I was brought around like the back entrance.
Because it was at Ellen Road, wasn't it?
It was at Ellen Road in the football stadium, maybe 40,000 fans. But I was expecting a bit of hostility. But they brought me in around the back entrance. The security were covering me up. I didn't really see anybody. Right. And that hostility really fires me up and makes me perform a lot better.
Right.
And
that's interesting. So you would like to have gone through the front door,
100%.
Really? Yeah.
What, for your adrenaline? Get yourself going. Yeah.
I remember boxing in Belfast 2012 against Martin Indy, defending my British title. And again, they were really hostile. It brought me up and I thought, right, I get like a chip on my shoulder. I'll show you guys, no. And then I sort of silenced the crowd there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't what I expected. And then in the fight then, I really struggled to make the weights, the 9 stone limits. I'm a big frame for 9 stone. 8 stone 13 I weighed in. Well, I tell you the truth, I was in the sauna the day of the weigh-in. I got down to 8 stone 12 by accident. I took a little bit too much weight off. I had a drink, gone to the scales, and you can see by a few of the pictures I was drained of the weight. And I remember the first jab I threw, I just knew I was
no power.
It was just laboured, slow. And
that must be a horrible feeling.
Come back slow, I thought, I'm not going to win.
That must be a horrible feeling in such a big fight, in a big title fight like that, and you know from your first punch it's not going to happen. It's not your night.
Well, that's it. It's a terrible feeling. Probably the biggest fight of my career.
Sure.
Because two British fighters.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hostility in the build-up. And then as the fight progressed, I got caught with a clash of heads.
Yeah.
Cut early on, maybe the third round. And looking back, I've spoke to Chris Sanigan, my manager at the time, who was in my corner working on the cuts. Looking back, I think they should have stopped the fight. It would have went to a no contest. Still would have got paid, would have kept the belt, and then I could have moved up in weight. But I mentioned this to Chris Sanigan previously, since the fight, and he said I was coming back into the fight. So I had a good round, and he thought I was gonna win the fight.
And wasn't there did you get cut again later on in that fight? Yeah,
cut twice
with another clash of heads. Yeah.
And I don't know whether Josh Warrington does it deliberately, but the fights previous and after mine, he done the same sort of thing, cut him in the heads, or whether it's just his style where he's quite erratic and he comes in with a lot of aggression.
How do you see this second fight then? How do you view who's your winner?
So the first fight, I watched sort of like highlights of it, and it looked to me that Josh Warrington was winning the fight. And then he got obviously caught with a big shot.
Yeah.
And with no disrespect to either fighters, I respect them both. Obviously, I respect every fighter. I think that they're slightly past their best, and I think both of their punch resistance have sort of starting to wear off.
Yeah.
Josh Warrington isn't known as a big puncher, although he punches solid. Lee Wood is a big puncher. And I think if the fight goes the distance, I'd pick Warrington to win on points.
Okay.
If it stops early, Lee Wood by knockout.
Is that because you think
Lee Wood by knockout?
Warrington's got he's got more durability.
He got a higher work rate.
Right.
He's boxed at a higher level. I know they've both previously been world champions, but he's been in higher level fights against better opposition.
Yeah.
And Lee Wood, funny enough, my younger brother boxed Lee Wood in the ABA finals. He boxed him twice. Once in his hometown of Nottingham, and once again in the boys' clubs of Great Britain. Beating him both times.
Oh, interesting.
But psychologically, in elite sport, psychology is massive.
Oh,
so it must be a massive advantage for Lee Wood, obviously having won the first fight, going into it.
Well, he knows no matter how far behind he is on points,
He's got a chance.
You got that equaliser punch, and
Sure.
you could always knock him out. He's done it once. There's no reason why he can't do it again.
Now, you're moving into the world of bare knuckle boxing. We've talked a lot about it on the show. So we had Paulie Malignaggi in the other day, who's still going strong. So what's made you go for that? What is it? Something you kind of? Carl Froch was saying, excuse me, a man in the news that had it been around in his day, he might have gone down this route. He quite likes the idea of it. Maybe not against John Fury, but anyway.
So I've been toying with the idea for quite a while. I retired from boxing a few years now. My last fight I boxed a guy who was 10 years younger than me, and I think that was why I lost the fight. My legs sort of slowed down. Although the first few rounds I was winning the fight.
Yeah.
And the bare knuckle boxing is only 5 rounds, so I know I won't have a problem with the distance. And the level of the opposition starting off won't be the level of the opposition if I went back to boxing. I'd have to be straight in the deep end. And I don't think I could... Well, I could possibly compete at the highest level in boxing with gloves on. But with the bare knuckle, I'll be starting again sort of from scratch. It's a different sport.
What's the sparring doing like? You've obviously tried it out. How have you found it?
So the sparring, I've just been doing the same.
Right.
Obviously, big gloves, head guard.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't want to risk no injuries.
So you can't really prepare for it till you get in there.
Really. What about the ring's different, isn't it? It's like a... Is it like more of a cage?
A triangle.
Triangle, yeah.
Triangle ring.
So in the
trigon, the mighty trigon.
Yeah, in your like boxing ring, you can get a rest, can't you? You can go on the ropes. You can have a bit of a rest.
Yeah, ring craft. Especially in my style, with the ring craft, in general,
completely
and a
different
bigger ring.
Yeah.
So this is more of a shootout for 5 rounds.
Yeah.
And you think that
they don't usually go the distance.
As a man who suffered some bad cuts, I mean, one of the issues, although I think they're more superficial cuts because the shots aren't as big, but you know, you do get a lot of cuts and a bit more blood in bare knuckle. Is that a concern to you? And Paulie Malignaggi was showing us a beaut on his forehead the other day that he's got.
Well, I haven't got much to lose. Now, in all seriousness, the cuts could possibly be a problem. Although I don't plan on hanging around to get
hit too often. Yeah,
clip, no. But again, I know it's a different sport. But with the boxing, I've been cut. With the experience being cut in those fights, I should be able to take it in, and it should keep me in good stead.
Yeah. So have you got a first fight in the bag yet? You know,
not yet, but when I signed the contract, they did mention October headlining in Wembley.
Oh wow!
Although I'd like to bring it a bit closer.
So what about on your training? Obviously, you haven't boxed for like 4 years, so your skin.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you're boxing regularly, it is tough.
Yeah.
So, have you found that you've had to get that back? Do you know what I mean? When you're in the gym.
So at the moment, I've only just started sort of like taking back over, just getting my body sort of ready for serious training. I've just been training like once a day, one run, or a weight session, or a boxing session, and I'm slowly building up because it is a bit of a long way away, and I don't really want to peak too soon.
Are you excited?
Excited, and if I said I wasn't scared, I'd be lying.
Oh, interesting.
I got that little fear factor because it's a new sport.
Sure.
I'm going into the unknown. Although I say that, I was scared every boxing match.
Really?
Not scared. It's a fine line between fear and nerves, but it's how you control it.
And you can turn the nerves into excitement. That's what you have to say.
Some fold under the nerves and the pressure, but I sort of use it to my advantage.
Couldn't go in to London Coney for the next couple of days, could you?
Yeah, that's what he needs you down with the Arsenal boys.
And the Arsenal boys.
So yeah, best of luck, and we'll keep an eye on your development. And hopefully, you think maybe before October, ideally, you'd like to be in just to give it a try.
Hopefully, I can bring it forward to maybe the summer.
Okay.
Although October will give me enough time to get this bit of weight off.
Well, look out for Lee then in BKB Bare Knuckle this Saturday. We've got BKB Bare Knuckle Boxing. It returns to TalkSport live from the Indigo, London's O2 Arena. The card boasts local talent with both Dan Giddins and Kevin Greenwood involved, plus a world title main event which sees the Bridgerweight title on the line. That's live BKB Bare Knuckle Boxing this Saturday from 7 p.m. on the TalkSport Boxing YouTube channel.
welcome to the Sports Bar on TalkSport. Jamie O'Hara, him over there, Jason Cundy.
Has anyone seen Arsenal's 2-goal lead? I tell you, 2-goal lead. You must have won. Hell of a beating Gunnosaurus kiss. Oh, but do me a favour. 1-0. Win the dog. Win the dog. Win the dog. Can you hear me with the dog? You must have won. Hell of a beating Gunnosaurus. Darren Benty, Darren, Benty. Can you hear me, Benty? You must have won. Hell of a beating. The kebab man has Arsenal score. The Loch Ness monster. David Raya, Matt Lucas, Matt, you're going to win a hell of a beat. Here's Morgan, Thierry Henry, Woodsy, Laura, you're going to win hell of a beat.
Wow. The title race is on. It's wide open. Big night of action across the TalkSport network. What on earth are Arsenal doing? Playing in second gear. Wolves were shocking. You drew 2-2 with them. Unbelievable. Only a 5-point lead at the top. It's all falling apart. You got Spurs at the weekend. Wow. Have your say on this. 03 717 22 33 44. Newcastle. They slapped Karabag earlier. Anthony Gordon scored 4 goals. He's now got 10 Champions League goals.
TalkSport Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Commercial vehicles that go the distance for your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
3 minutes past 2. Good afternoon. Here are your headlines. How do you take the pressure off these tense Arsenal players? Piers Morgan would give them a week off.
I want these guys on a plane somewhere warm on Monday morning until Friday. I want them playing zero football. They look completely mentally frazzled and physically jaded. So let's just give them a break.
Perry Grove says in 1989, when Arsenal survived their wobbles to lift the title, George Graham alone kept his head. He has this message for Arteta.
He's got to be the most positive person in that training ground and in that dressing room. He's got to walk in and he's got to say, don't know what to fuss about, boys. Weren't a great performance. We've just dropped levels, but I know the levels you can get to and I trust you and I know that you can do it.
Arne Slot, meanwhile, hopes Liverpool players would also walk off if they suspected racist abuse and says football needs to do more than society to combat racism.
That's maybe not so difficult, by the way, but and I think protocol has been followed during the game, so that's the first step. And now, and I think the football world reacted as you expected to react.
He was talking there, of course, about the Vinicius Junior situation. Meanwhile, it's understood UEFA could take 3 weeks to investigate the allegations against Benfica's Gianluca Prestiani. And in the Six Nations, Gabriel Hamer-Webb will make his Wales debut this weekend as Steve Tandy rings the changes.
Gabe, add something to our group for this week that we want to play Scotland. The way Gabe's come in and trained, I think his performances for Leicester as well when we were looking at him were outstanding.
Meanwhile, Jack Crowley will start at fly half for Ireland against England. He's one of 5 changes made by Andy Farrell. There's more at TalkSport.com.
TalkSport News.
Police are searching Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's properties after his arrest this morning, while the King has responded to the news by saying the law must take its course. More from the news team at past.
TalkSport weather with QuickFit. With over 600 centres across the UK, most of which open 7 days a week, we're always there when you need us. QuickFit. Drive away happy every time.
The rain and sleet will be easing across central and eastern England. Drier later with brighter spells. Showers moving across Northern Ireland and western Scotland this afternoon. Windy in the southwest and the north and feeling chilly.
Home and away on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Good afternoon, it's Paul Hawksbee and Perry Groves here on TalkSport. Ben Jones, Bishop of York Knights, had an incredible win last weekend against Hull KR, who played for the World Club Challenge this evening. We're going to have a chat with Ben today. Johnny Marsh is a chef to a lot of top footballers, and he's going to have a look at Perry's old pre-match menu from the 80s, sorry. Am I doing you a disservice?
80s and 90s.
80s and 90s, yeah. Max Scott, who's one of our own, of course, here at TalkSport, is a big Forest fan. They go at Fenerbahce tonight, where Vitor Pereira, their new manager, had 2 spells, I believe. So it's live on TalkSport 2, and we'll be chatting to Max and Edu under a bit of pressure, of course, formerly of Arsenal. But before that, time for us now to take a look into this weekend's National League action with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. And the 914-mile round trip between Truro City and Gateshead apparently is the record for the longest away journey in English football. So I take it it's a record between Gateshead and Truro as well.
I'd love to do that for TalkSport. 45p a mile. Magnificent.
You're just thinking about the X's.
Exactly. When Jason asked me to do games, do you mind going there and go, right, I do.
Yeah. Okay, well,
I'm going there.
You put your name down for that one.
Exactly. Further away, the better.
Rob Elliott, the Gateshead manager, former Newcastle keeper, joins us now. Hello, Rob.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Hello, Rob.
You've probably got a slightly different... I doubt if you're on 45p a mile, are you, Rob? I mean, that is a long old schlep, isn't it? I mean, how are you viewing that?
Yeah, no, it is. It's. I'm actually just about to get the train down today, so I've had to sort some stuff out. The lads left at 9:30 this morning. To actually be able to prepare for the game, you can't do it in one day. So we've made that decision to go down tonight, ready for Saturday, and then whoever decided to put it to 5:30 on Saturday night is not our favourite person, because the lads won't get back to 8 a.m. on Sunday morning. So it's a slog whichever way you do it. But I suppose it is what it is. It's just you just got to get on with it, and you just got to try. And I suppose the message to the lads is make the journey worth it.
Are they doing it by coach, or are they on? What are they doing?
Yeah. They're on coach. You know, the typical weekend. There's no rail replacement over the weekend, as you'd expect. No flights. So just have to do it on the coach. And obviously, we're fortunate the coach company's it's a decent coach and stuff. But obviously, 12 hours on a coach isn't ideal, and especially we've got a game on the Wednesday as well. So lads are going to miss a night's sleep, and then. Yeah, it's the joys of the National League. You know, we don't really have them finances that the bigger clubs do. I was fortunate enough to have when I played. And that's where the lads are top class, to be honest with you, because you know they're so professional, and they do all these. They have to do all the extra stuff on top that maybe the players higher up have the privileges that they don't.
So, Rob, did you have to get your sat nav out and just think, right, that's where we're going to stop? Like you stop every 2.5, 3 hours. Do you know what I mean? Just so that they can have a walk and get their adrenaline and the blood pumping around their bodies.
Yeah, you got a couple of drivers, so I think you have to stop every 3.5, 4 hours anyway. So just break it up into probably 3 segments, and then get the lads to get some fresh air and stretch their legs, and then obviously when we get to the hotel, that's why we had to come down on a Thursday rather than a Friday, just simply because of the journey. You know, trying to do that day before a game, we just felt would just be. Yeah, it just doesn't give the lads the best chance, you know. So we're trying to. The chairman and the owners at the club have been brilliant. Found the extra funds to give us the best opportunity to go down there. So, look, at the end of the day, it's you can't get away from it. You just got to do it and make the most of it. It's just disappointing for us that it's at 5:30 because we lose a night's sleep before the next game. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, I suppose these are the things in the National League you have to deal with. You've got to deal with all these things and make the most of it.
But there's a lot of positivity, Robin, there, because obviously he was on a bad run. You'd lost 13 on the trot. You've gone in. You've got your first win away at Halifax 2-1. So it's good to be travelling away that distance when you know you've got that win under.
And it's a 6-pointer, isn't it? Because they're down there with you, so you're both fighting it out, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's all those things combined. You guys know better in terms of football what it's like. I'm really pleased with the group. To be honest with you, we should have had more points on the board than the first one the other night. We had a sending off in one of the games, and then Saturday against Brackley, we just couldn't get that equaliser. So I've been really, really pleased with the group, the lads we brought in, the lads that have bought into it. And it's it's going to be a tough task for us, but I just want the lads to give themselves the best opportunity and playing some really good football. We've been more solid, and hopefully it's just one step at a time. But I think we sort of said we can't really look at anyone else. We just have to. If we don't win the games, then we don't give ourselves a chance. We can't worry about anyone else. So. Go to Truro. We've got to play probably everyone around us as well. So we'll have the opportunities to gain points back and see if we can, be close to it by the end of the season. But big thing for me is where the club's been the last few months with a bit of turmoil on and off the pitch is just getting us settled, getting us back to what we used to be in terms of style of play and the identity of the club, and put us back on the right track.
Do you know what? You know the identity of the club and the fabric club, Rob, as well. Obviously being manager before, winning the FA Trophy, and you got to the playoffs, but it was out of your hands where the playoffs were concerned.
Yeah, it was disappointing. We got to the playoffs. The lads worked so hard, and I genuinely believe we were the best team outside of in the playoffs that year. I genuinely did, and obviously that's no disrespect to anyone else, but I genuinely thought we had the real chance of winning it. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be because of the ground issue, which miraculously gets solved, and the laws get changed for the start of the next season. So. And then obviously the club's had a tough time since then. Obviously I left, and then I've come back, and it's a completely different club. So we're just trying to get it reset. The chairman and the owner at the moment just doing a good job in terms of getting us right off the pitch, making sure we, first of all, we're not just always in survival mode. We can actually put things into motion, get better training facilities, and go back to what we did really well, which was playing good football and developing young players who go into the Football League, and that's the platform we want to provide. But we want to be doing that in the National League, so hopefully we can give ourselves the best chance to do that.
Do you keep an eye on events at Newcastle? Goalkeepers-wise, it's been interesting. They've got Pope and Ramsdale. There's been a few stories saying James Trafford could be going there, so I don't know who gives way for that. But
don't forget John Ruddy.
John Ruddy's there,
the
yeah, that's true. Holding up an end, the new Scott Carson, yeah. I mean, it's interesting times for Newcastle. I'm sure being up in that part of the world, there's a fair few Newcastle fans in and around the club.
Yeah, there is, mate. No, listen, for me, Aaron Ramsdale's a top goalie, but Nick Pope's been nothing short of exceptional since he's come in, and I think he's probably rightly the number one. And obviously, look, you get the opportunity to sign someone like James Trafford, you'd be at any club in the Premier League, man, not to. So you never know if that comes round again, because by the understanding, it was quite close in the summer before he decided to go to City. But yeah, I think. Obviously, from my point of view, Eddie Howe's done an incredible job. They won 6-1 last night in the Champions League. They qualified for the Champions League again. He's lost the best striker in Europe, and it probably hasn't been as smooth this year as they want. But overall, from where the club was 3-4 years ago to where it is now, it's almost unrecognisable. So, from my point of view as a fan now, it's still good to see. I think just one good window for Newcastle, and I think they can really kick on.
And just a quick one on the fans. I don't know how many Truro brought to your place in the reverse fixture, but how many expecting of your fans to travel?
Yeah, we expect a few. We've got a real good loyal support, and obviously being where we are in the northeast, every travel's a long one for our fans. Yeah. But then this one in particular. But now I just bumped into a couple on their way down. They're going to London tonight and getting the sleeper train to Taunton, and there's all those lovely, weird, and wonderful stories. A lot of our players' families are coming down to make a weekend of it. So I'd expect a good 50, 60. For it, which is just amazing, considering the money that you have to spend and the time travelled. So we've not got the biggest support, but we've got real loyal supporters, and it's lovely to see. And hopefully we can give them a good performance and get a result from them.
Well, all the best, Rob. Safe journey. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers, Rob. Cheers, guys. Take care of yourselves. All the best.
Rob Elliott there, the manager of Gateshead, heading down to Truro for their game at the weekend, 5:30 on Saturday. You can take his point. It's not great, is it, really?
Especially like roadworks as well, when they didn't have weekends where you go down like the M4, M4, whatever, and you think, oh, really? I've got to go a 40-mile detour. Thanks for that.
That is a frightening journey. Anyway, that was a look ahead to this weekend's National League coverage. All thanks to Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Don't forget TalkSport will have updates throughout Saturday featuring Carlisle v Yeovil and Truro v Gateshead.
Home and away on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
Right, Benfica midfielder Gianluca, how do you pronounce that? Prestiani, is that how you say it? Has denied racially abusing Real Madrid winger Vinicius Junior in the Champions League tie last night. UEFA have announced that an official investigation has been launched after he covered his mouth with his shirt before saying something to Vinicius, which led the Brazilian reporting alleged racist abuse to the referee. The game was halted for 10 minutes before Madrid went on to win the game, thanks to an amazing Vinicius goal. The winger then wrote on Instagram, racists are above all cowards. They need to put their shirts in their mouths to show how weak they are. I received a yellow card for celebrating a goal. I still don't understand why. On the other hand, it was just a poorly executed protocol that served no purpose. Now, on the back of that, this is what I find absolutely stunning. Jose Mourinho has come out and said, when you score a goal like that, you celebrate in a respectful way. I told Vinicius, when you score a goal like that, you just celebrate and walk back. When he was arguing about racism, I told him the biggest person in the history of this club is Eusebio, and he was black. The club, this is the last thing that it is, and that's racist. We'll talk about all these comments in just a moment. Mark Clattenburg on Amazon Prime says, once Vinicius Jr. has approached the referee now has to follow protocol. He has to follow the rules that UEFA have set out when this happens. The problem in this situation is that Vinicius Jr. has not helped himself. Oh, my goodness. He has made this difficult for the referee. He scored a wonderful goal, and he has to do is celebrate, yes, but return back.
Hawksbee, Perry Groves here on TalkSport. We're going to be talking a bit of rugby league with Ben Jones-Bishop later on of York Knights. Had a big win last week in their first Super League game against Hull KR. And we're talking Forest in this hour. Just before we chat to Johnny Marsh, the chef who works with a lot of football people, and we're going to get him a look at your 80s, 90s footballers'
diet. The way it changed.
You were talking to Rob Elliott there about that 900-plus journey to... from Gateshead to Truro. What was your longest journey as a player?
Colts United in the old 4th Division. We used to do Hartlepool away on a Friday night, and used to obviously
on a Friday night.
Yeah. The Linnigan brothers playing at centre half.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the old film Slapshot with the two brothers with the gum shields in? That was them. Torquay away, obviously Exeter. So that was... I can just remember one of my first long-distance journeys as a kid, 16, 17, and being really excited. You know, I'm going away. And in the old days, it was one telly. If you had a telly on your coach, that's executive, by the way.
Yeah.
And it was the old VHS video to watch. You all watch the same film. Do you know what I mean? So it could be Deer Hunter, could be whatever it is.
Yeah.
I remember Roy McDonough, Red Card Roy, was quite infamous for getting sent off the record time. He's top man. So he was in charge of the films.
Oh, dear.
So as we're on the coach, we're travelling around like the A12, he puts it on. And as it put on, it all flickered at the start, and then there was, shall we say, quite a lot of adult content.
Yes, in the film. That doesn't massively surprise me.
Cyril Lee and our manager Alan Hunter, Old Ipswich, they nearly choked. They was at the front, have a nice little cough. You can see it. They spat it out on the windscreen. Right. Get this off. Get this film on.
What did they expect him to put on, knowing what he was like?
Everything, he's not exactly.
He's the man who had the most red cards in football history.
Yeah, he's not exactly like Barry Norman, is he?
No,
but he didn't tell us what he was putting on.
He was going to put Jules and Jim, was he?
It was genius.
Well, he might have done. Anyway, but not that version. Let's move on. Johnny Marsh is chef, Michelin-starred chef to many of the stars. He's now lending his talents to the worst team, Specsaver's worst team in the country, or best worst team in the country. Hello, Johnny.
How are you doing? You okay?
Johnny.
Nice to see you again.
Too bad. I mean, obviously, the Specsavers did wonders with the best worst team last year. There's a new team.
Mm-hmm.
We spoke to Angry Ginge the other day. He's been doing a bit of work with them. But I would imagine diet is important if you're trying to turn a team's fortune around. Have you been fairly unimpressed with their existing diet?
Well, when we had a bit of a workshop where I told them about what to eat pre-game, some of the stuff they were sort of consuming at 4 a.m. before a game was a little bit dodgy, shall we say? But it's Sunday League. They've had a bit of guidance this year. Mika's done an incredible job, and I think he's really turned them around. Honestly, they were telling me about some of the results. They're really coming through now.
What? Johnny, I've only ever cooked sausage and beans on toast. Honestly, I can't cook.
Right.
Whoever invented the microwave, I like to shake the hand because that, when I was in my Singleton days, that saved me.
A bloke called microwave.
Was it? Right, yeah. Microwave. Yeah. I salute you. You saved me. But Johnny, what is the easiest thing if you're a sports person, whatever sport you're doing, pretty much? What's the easiest thing for you to prepare?
I mean, for me, it has to be a pasta. But on this one, we did a pie, and we sort of really introduced the beetroot element to this, which is a natural enhancement. I love it as well. But it naturally enhances exercise performance. But it's one of them things. We filled it. We made it so it was like really nostalgic, and we made it so it suited them, because everybody loves a pie, and everyone at Sunday League, when you go into games and stuff like that, everybody loves to get a pie on the stands and the terraces and watch the game. So we wanted to try and make it so it was relatable, but yet also nice as well at the same time.
And it's good that they're responding to it and they're eating well. Well, so Perry, what when you first started playing, it was steak and chips pre-match.
Yeah, it was. If you look back to the 70s, like all the players, like steak and chips and pint of milk was their like pre-match, and some went, oh, by the way, that steak stays in your gut for about 3 weeks.
Yeah,
so you're still digesting it. And then there was a book by Martina Navratilova called Eat to Win, and obviously what the tennis players, because they play game after game after game after game.
Yeah.
And what Johnny said there was it was basically all pasta and rice. So after a Wednesday, we were told in uncertain terms that
George Graham
that you go on, and from then on it is pasta and rice, maybe maybe a bit of like boiled chicken, or maybe a bit of fish. But other than that, I'd say our diets changed around, and we did see an improvement in the last like 5 minutes of games.
Yeah,
where you still had that energy where maybe before you didn't. So how diets, I mean, to be fair, on a Tuesday, which the Tuesday club, it was more fluid, like getting the fluid intake. But
you said on the Saturday, you used to see all the players' cars outside the McDonald's.
Yeah, that was there. When we come back, we've had an away game, we'd be at London Coney, so our cheat meal. So there was a drive-through, just outside London Coney, so there'd be about 15 cars all like queuing up to go and get your Big Mac or whatever. That was, so you could have some, we called it like the dirty food. Yeah, we can have that. That's your sin on a Saturday.
I mean, you've sort of looked after Kevin De Bruyne and Kyle Walker and Gundogan and stuff. So I mean, I imagine they still do that now and again. They cheat now and again, don't they? I mean, just you've got to give yourself a bit of pleasure now and again.
You have to have that sort of mental sort of reset every week, once a week. I always used to say to the players, when they say, I want you 7 days a week, I say no. It's maximum of 5. You have to be able to let yourself go once a week, or you're going to get sick of me. And that goes right down to Sunday League level, and that goes down to grassroots and everything. If you want to be as strict as you want during the week, you've got to let yourself go on the weekend. You have to. In my eyes, you may not everybody may agree with that, but in my eyes, you have to give yourself a bit of mental clarity and a treat.
Johnny, can I ask you, watching TV 8 o'clock at night, and I don't drink anymore, so I've got sugar. I have to replace that sugar. When you're sitting watching telly.
Yeah.
What's the best thing? What's the best thing where you can get like the sugar rush, but sitting about 8 o'clock at night when you're watching telly, you think I've got the munchies here. Because at the minute I'm addicted to Revels. That's what I'm.
Okay. Might as well face it.
I've got a recipe for you. So this is one I'm a little bit obsessed with actually at the minute. So it's cocoa powder. No, sorry. Yeah. It's cocoa powder, melted chocolate, silken tofu, and a little bit of honey. You blend it all together, and it literally makes a high protein chocolate mousse that lasts for 3 to 5 days in the fridge.
Oh, it's done. So cocoa powder?
Where can we find? So I'm looking at silken tofu at the moment. You can find it in most of your upmarket soup. Well, they sell it everywhere, don't they? Sell it in Tesco's and everything.
Everywhere.
Yeah. There you go, Perry. Bit of silken tofu.
That's it.
You've written that down?
I've got it, yeah. I've got the cocoa powder, melted chocolate, silken tofu. Yep.
Better than Revels.
Revels, yeah, but the thing is, not the jeopardy in that, though, is there, with the Revels? You know, whether you can get a toffee one or it's going to be orange.
That's true. I mean,
that's don't want the coffee, do you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you save them for me.
Is that when you guess?
You say, this is the point where you say, well, I suck all the chocolate off and then I just put them back. Yeah. Well, look, Johnny, good luck with the Specsavers team. Let's hope your diet is turning things around for them. And all the best. We'll catch up with you soon. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Cheers for that.
Cheers, Johnny. Johnny Marsh there working with Specsavers' best, worst team. No, I'm not very good.
No.
But Andy's very good. He's
is
a
he?
bit of a
Like Swedish chef, is he gets in there and gives it
dab hand in the kitchen. Yeah.
I think I'm probably frightened. I think when you go in there, you can actually create your own stuff, can't you? Just like do all the noodles and pasta, whatever, and just see how it comes out.
I mean, that's a lovely gig, isn't it, for Johnny? He says he worked under Ramon Blanc and he's worked with all, but working as a football fan, working with the players, but he does he sort of caters for their families and stuff. So, but they have to eat well all the time. Don't they?
And obviously it does the family's health good as well because they'll eat really well. I forgot to ask him because I noticed that Declan Rice was one of his customers. So basically, if you're any footballer, just try and get Declan Rice what he has, what his menu is. Then you're going to be all right.
His energy levels are amazing.
They're different level.
Yeah.
Different level.
What a player. Well, Andy and I were talking about him last week, and it's true. When you see him in the flesh, you appreciate just what a great player. And he does everything well, doesn't he?
I call him the Springer Spaniel. When that ends you, where you just bounce around. He does the same.
But that's the quality and the way he can, like we saw last week, he's putting in a last-ditch challenge to stop a goal against Brentford. Then he's setting up another attack. He's hurtling down the left channel, trying to set up. I mean, I
think he's got a tight. You think, how did he get there from there? Like, where did he get the edge of their box onto the edge of our box in that sort of 2 or 3 seconds in the 94th minute?
Yeah.
So
I mean, he's a great player, but he's never been in that situation that we're talking about now, are we? He's just, I mean, as you said, he strikes me as one of those players who does get over that hump and win something with Arsenal. We'll just go on.
Yeah, he's got to add
a key player.
Maybe more goals too. That's when he's still got another level to go at. But I think he's won these ones, especially against you on Sunday, where he's a player that can drag the players with him. Do you know what I mean? And take that responsibility and say, we're going to be all right because I'm going to be bounced around, getting me challenges, you know what I mean, getting me interceptions in, taking the free kicks, the corners, whatever. So I think the group of sort of 5 or 6 of them have got to show those leadership qualities. But as you said there, he's that good. It'd be the other day, was it? I think Paul Scholes and Wayne Rooney and Nicky Butt said that Arsenal haven't got any world-class players. And you go, Declan Rice would be in your top 5 midfield players. Gabriel and Selby in your top 5 centre halves. Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
well, I clearly hope they both have an absolute mare on Sunday, obviously, but there we are.
Ben goals all over.
Ben Jones Bishop of York Knights joining us for a chat. Max Scott on Forest tonight. Fenerbahce, Vitor Pereira, their new manager's old club. That's all to come.
Gabby in particular was, quotes, desperate to talk to me. Every sinew of my torso was screaming, I'd rather shoot myself with a rusty World War I rifle. And then I thought, you know what? We've had enough Arsenal bottle jobs for one 12-hour period. It's actually time to face the music, face the pressure, stand up and show this Arsenal team what you do when the heat is on. You don't run away, you don't hide, you actually stand up and you take them on, which is something we singularly failed to do last night.
What's this going to tell us about Mikel this weekend coming up, Piers? Arsenal strong favourites to beat Tottenham.
Well, I couldn't think of a better place to go, frankly, than Tottenham on Sunday. And I'm presuming that between now and then, Mikel Arteta, who I've become a massive fan of, I think he's going to read them the riot act quite rightly. And I think he's going to ask them, all of them individually, well, how much do you want this? You know, you can be chokers again, as we have been for the last 3 seasons. We have, I still believe, it was a good debate that came after the last time I was on about the strength and depth of the squad. But frankly, last night, the kind of history I thought we might make this season did not include the fact that, did you know this? That there has been no side that's been top of the Premier League in history that has ever choked a 2-goal lead against someone in the relegation zone. And it's not just any team in the relegation zone. This Wolves side is arguably one of the worst teams I've ever seen.
So, how's Mikel Arteta feeling after a huge slip-up in the title race?
Very disappointed, very frustrated. You can sense that. So now is not the moment to talk because we are all too sensitive about it.
Arsenal blew a 2-goal lead to draw at Wolves, and the boss is not the only one feeling sensitive.
I think he's taking Arsenal as far as they can go. We've got a dog called Win at the training ground. What we need to do is buy 2 gerbils and call 1 game and 1 management.
Arsenal are still 5 points clear, but Man City have a game in hand and home advantage when the sides meet in April, and there are 12 games to go. Now, Michael van Gerwen's had to pull out of his Premier League darts quarter-final in Glasgow tonight. That's due to illness. It means Luke Littler gets a bye, and he'll face either Johnny Clayton or Gowan Price in the semi. Now, good news for the UK's flagging hospitality industry. Pubs can stay open until 2 a.m. during the World Cup knockout stages if any of the home nations get there. And you'd never catch anyone at TalkSport broadcasting under the influence, but Australian sports reporter Danica Mason has apologised for having a few before going on air at the Winter Olympics in Milan.
It's more the price of coffee in the US that we are going to have to get used to. I'm not sure about the iguanas. Where are we going with that one? But anyway.
Mason says she misjudged the situation, also blaming altitude, cold weather and not eating dinner. More at TalkSport.com.
Hawksbee and Perry Groves here. A man who's making all the news today here on TalkSport, we're delighted to say. Tim Vickery is going to join us from Rio a little bit later on. Johnny Stewart from the band The Weller Men is a huge Newcastle fan, but he came at it from a very odd angle, as he will explain, but is no less committed despite not being a Geordie. And Max Scott looks ahead of Fenerbahce Forest live on TalkSport 2 this evening. Looking forward to that. It was the early kickoff, of course, because we got Celtic Stuttgart, another big game. That Europa League playoff first leg. But we're going to hear from one of the Arsenal fans at the moment. It's Liam who's joined us. Good afternoon, Liam.
Good afternoon, boys.
Hello, Liam. How are you feeling? You're quite chilled? Are you quite zen like Perry? Or not? Are you panicking?
No, first I want to say I love Perry. Good man he is, and I like everything he says about the game. Moving on to like last night and in the previous few games, I feel like Arteta's messing about. I like Arteta. I don't want him to go, but I feel like he's messing about a bit too much at the wrong time of the season. Like now it's down to nitty gritty. He tried Saka and put on the right. My mind's gone blank.
Madueke, yeah.
He put Madueke on the right, Saka in the middle. you're moving Saka out of position, even though Madueke's a class act. And then also I'm finding that we're putting Eze in the middle when we play with players like Marino, got a bit of grit about them, more like Xhaka. It's just that Eze's not doing the hard work to keep us pumping. He's just staying static and just wants to be a luxury player.
Took his goal well last night, I thought. I mean, it's good, well-timed run and everything. Do you like him at Saka? Yeah, I get it because Madueke's been playing really well and he gives you something different, like 1v1s. I want him to get his cross in maybe a little bit earlier than what he does, but you couldn't drop him because he'd scored 2 in 2. So when Saka played against Wigan, I know it's different levels, he looked like he was right in there. So I was all right with that. I just think what it is, I think it's a collective thing, Liam, where I just want to see him go, right, we've got to go on the front foot and we've got to be positive. We've got to go and close down with intensity. And if we have to leave like 2v2 at the back, you've got Saliba and Gabriel. I think we've just got to be prepared maybe to lose it, to go and win it. Do you know what I mean? I think it's just maybe a little bit too much control that's going on. But
we get too passive, definitely. I find it in games where I feel like, you see last night, in most games, last 5 minutes, it goes 91 minutes and then we're trying to win the game when, 60 minutes onwards, it's just Gabriel to Saliba, Saliba to Gabriel, Gabriel to Saliba, and you think you've got to even last night with Gabriel's pass through the lines. If they pump the ball forward more, we could create more chances, but we're just too passive at the back, into Declan Rice, into Saliba, into Gabriel. It's too slow sometimes to build up.
Yeah. Good stuff, Liam. Appreciate
Keep the faith, Liam. Keep the faith.
Perry's very relaxed about it. Always, he's put out his message to Mikel Arteta. Liam, the Arsenal fan. You want to get in touch this afternoon? Talksport.com/H&J. Text to 81089. Tweet to TSH&J 03717 22 3344. Time to talk Super League. We've got the added bonus of the Club World Challenge this evening as well. Hull KR Brisbane Broncos. A man who's won that were Leeds. He's going back to his old club this weekend with York Knights, who had an incredible victory over the team that did the treble last year, old KR. And I was watching your game, Perry, the Arsenal Brentford, and watching the Super League game on the iPad. And they were both had great endings. But my next guest would almost certainly say the York Knights one was better. Ben Jones-Bishop joins us. Hi, Ben.
How are we doing? Thanks for having me.
Hello, Ben. Pleasure, yeah. What a performance last week. We were talking in the build-up to the game, we were talking about it, and there was a few whispers, and you can tell us whether this had any bearing on it. Because of the World Club Challenge, Hull KR had said that they wanted a relatively easy start to the season. I don't know if that's true, but did that feed into? Was that pinned on the dressing room wall?
No, it was mentioned about a little bit, but being honest, there's no greater way to start for a newly promoted team playing against the best in the league, the champions from the year before. So, whoever we've faced, we're going to be more than up for it. The opening night at home in front of our own fans, packed crowd. So it was nice. It was obviously great to play against the best team and the benchmark of the competition last year. So hopefully we can keep that rolling and move on week to week.
It must have given some of the boys, maybe certainly some of those who maybe haven't played in Super League before, and I don't know how many in the squad haven't, but it must have given them a lot of confidence to go toe-to-toe with old KR and come away with a win.
Yeah, definitely. There was quite a few who were making the Super League debuts. So, a massive occasion for a lot of players and the club, as I mentioned. So, and that's it. It's just, we did a lot of defending in that opening 15, 20 minutes on our goal line. We've stood the pressure. And I think we just, we just grew as the game went on. We knew that all the pressure was on them. The longer we went about it and stuck in there with them, that the pressure would be on them. And that period where we went 12 points down and then rallied back in the second half, I think that was the sort of togetherness and the belief in the group. No matter who we're playing, we always back ourselves to find a way to turn it around.
Well, the Hull KR head coach, Willie Peters, very complimentary about yourselves, Ben, and your team after the game, because he said when they play Brisbane Broncos, they've got to play like you did against them, where he said anything in front of them, they've just got to go and smash it.
Yeah, that's it. We're up for it. I think that probably the most pleasing thing looking back was that we didn't, there was no cheap errors. We completed our sets. I think we were at 94% completion rate in the first half, and given the conditions, given the ferocity and speed of the game, that's what you need. Not turning the ball over cheaply and putting ourselves under pressure. So I think it was a great building block for us, and hopefully we can kick on this week at Headingley.
It's good for the league as well, because the league's increased this year, and you don't want sort of a whipping boys scenario. It's important for the sport and the game to keep eyes on the sport, that it's competitive right across the board, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think you showed that in the other games as well. Bradford put up a good fight over in Hull, and then Toulouse came over and beat Wakefield as well. So yeah, it's a good start, and being honest, us three there in the Championship, you see it in the cup games. We can compete for a certain amount of time, but now being full time, being able to train full time, get that fitness into us, we can more than compete on this stage. It's just making sure that we're consistent and week to week we're doing the job.
You've won a World Cup challenge with Leeds. It should be a fascinating game tonight. Last couple of games have been won by the Super League side, which is good. There wasn't one last year, unfortunately. But will you be tuning in tonight, Ben?
Yeah, I'll be watching. Yeah, it's like you said, it's always a great game to see against the Australian. Obviously, really early in their pre-season Australian team. I don't think they played a warm-up game, so okay, I'll have the edge in terms of match fitness there. But yeah, it's always going back to Leeds. It's always a great occasion. I'm sure the OKR players, in their own stadium, it'll be an unbelievable atmosphere. So yeah, looking forward to watching a good game.
Yeah. Will you want them to win for the good of the Super League? Because obviously in football, if it was Spurs playing or Liverpool playing or Man United playing, there's no way Arsenal fans want them to win.
The Hull FC fans won't want them to win.
No, but the other neutrals.
Yeah, that's true.
The other neutrals.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah, I'd like to see them win. Ultimately, it's they're representing the English competition, the Super League, against the NRL. So yeah, it'd be nice to have Super League come out on top.
Ben, you've played in that massive game. What's the difference? Obviously, they're playing against Brisbane Broncos. What's the sort of difference in styles?
Yeah, so I'd say obviously the NRL game over the years has been a little bit faster. We're seeing the Super League now speed up and try and get on a par with that. I think this early on in the year, I think the advantage to the UK is that it's the weather.
Yeah.
It's not the best conditions. It's wet. It's slippy. It's less expansive rugby. More sort of a gritty game. So the fields are usually very good. The grounds these days. So I'm just looking forward to seeing a bit of a good competition. Like I said, it's not very often we get to see this interleague games. So. No. It'll be interesting, contrasting styles, and see how it goes.
And you go back to Leeds, which obviously always emotional for you, and especially going with a newly promoted team, and that's tomorrow evening, 8:00. You must be looking forward to that.
Yeah, massively looking forward to that. The last time I played there was COVID season in front of an empty stadium. Didn't think I'd get the chance to go back there in the Super League, and 6 years later, I'm going back. So, yeah, it'll be great to play in front of that atmosphere. Local lads, so, I'll have a lot of family and friends there as well. So, yeah, one I'm looking forward to.
Brilliant. Well, look, good to talk to you, Ben. All the best. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Cheers, Ben. Ben Jones Bishop.
York Knights had a big win last week, so they go to Headingley tomorrow. On Sunday, Huddersfield Giants play another of Ben's old sides, Wakefield Trinity. And we're going to bring you that game live on TalkSport too. We've got plenty of live Super League throughout the season. Yeah, and I'm going to be watching tonight. It should be a really good game.
My two boys, they're older now. They're 35, 33. Were very good rugby union players.
Right.
And I managed to get them tickets for the Challenge Cup final, and they went and watched it at Wembley. And they came away, couldn't believe the brutality of the rugby league, of the physicality.
Well, it's just a relentless sport. It never lets up.
Everything
it's brilliant
is confrontation, and everything is physical confrontation.
Well, your lad's living in Oz now, so has he got more into rugby league? He was in Sydney, isn't he?
Yeah, he's more into the Aussie rules.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Sydney Swans. So they're my team.
I've
been there, been to a game, unreal. Until you know the rules, you think it's a load of blokes just running around chasing a rugby ball about.
Yeah.
But Then you see how fit they are because it's played on cricket pitches.
Yeah.
Because the reason it was invented was for the cricket players to keep fit during the winter. So that's what they did. And I fell in love. There's a player called Buddy Franklin,
right?
Who's their equivalent. He's retired now, but their equivalent of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
So he was the one who used to take all the marks and take the penalty kicks at goal, and used to run, put the ball down and run about 40 yards away from it and look at the crowd like Ronaldo, you know, when he holds up his hands and say, have a look at me. I said to my two boys, I said, he better nail this. And they went, Dad, he doesn't miss. Even from the left-hand side, bending it in. And I felt it. When you look at, say, about 6'6", but the athleticism of the Aussie rules is unreal.
Yeah. No, I went to watch a game over in Melbourne. It was cracking. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's good sport. So, still to come, Max Scott joins us. Going to pop in. Fenerbahce, Nottingham Forest tonight. Vita Pereira's first game in charge as the new manager against the club he once managed. And we'll get Max's take on that. And Edu, their director of football, under a little bit of pressure currently, if you believe what you read. We'll be chatting to Max about that, and we'll have a birthday spread for you as usual in the final hour, me taking on Perry. We're here with Toolstation. Get winter ready. We're heating and insulation essentials. Next stop, Toolstation.
Wayne Rooney has suggested Liverpool boss Arne Slot lacks aura. He says it's strange, isn't it, when you're talking about Slot being on an audition to keep his job, when he obviously has recently won the Premier League. I've met him a couple of times, but I just don't think for Liverpool he's got that aura. And maybe that's because Liverpool have just come off the back of Jurgen Klopp as manager. It's difficult for anyone, but I just don't think that aura is there about him. Has he got a lack of aura?
Well, I spent some time with him. I interviewed him for TalkSport and spoke to him for a while before as well. I quite liked his presence and his calmness and his intelligence. I think Wayne's right if you're comparing him to Klopp. Klopp is an exuberant, charismatic, warm, humorous, larger-than-life character who captivated the whole city in many ways and brought it together over a period of time where it was struggling. So to follow him, I mean, is anybody out? I mean, nobody really you think could walk in and be what Klopp was. So I understand where he's coming from. He's kind of justified himself in his words, Wayne.
Yeah.
He's not Klopp, no. And also, irrelevant of his charisma, charm, or any of those traits, if he finishes outside the Champions League places and doesn't win it, he'll probably be gone.
It reminds me of the Kevin Bridges routine about self-esteem. No, I didn't get paid this week, but I've got plenty of self-esteem, and that's great. I mean, Arne, you haven't won a.
Breaking news on TalkSport following the sacking of Sean Dyche from Nottingham Forest. It's been confirmed that Vitor Pereira will take the reins at the City Ground.
I like my teams with tactical organisation, commitment, courage to play and to be themselves.
Laid forward again, Igor Jesus taking it on, rifling it into the bottom left-hand corner. That is some finish.
Nottingham Forest won't be looking at him a long term. This is the here and now.
Of course, this is Vitor Pereira going to his old club. So he's not just going to turn up and play the reserves. I find that very, very hard to imagine indeed.
Gibbs White takes a step back, runs up, right-footed, sends the keeper the wrong way.
He's not a backwards and going forwards kind of fella. I think it's going to be a really interesting time.
Yeah, we're bringing that one. It's the early kick-off on TalkSport 2 at 5:45. Fenerbahce versus Nottingham Forest. Alex Crook and former Forest defender Luke Chambers, your commentary team. Celtic Stuttgart, Dance and Chris Awelamo bring you that one at 8 o'clock. Max Scott will be lending his Forest expertise. He's our resident Forest fan here at TalkSport. He's going to be with Crookie and Luke a little bit later on. Good afternoon, Max.
Good afternoon.
Max. So I'm sure you've been. I mean, look, the thing is you haven't got to do your reading on Pereira. You saw what he did at Wolves. How do you feel about the appointment? First off,
I've got no hard feelings towards Vitor Pereira. It's an obvious appointment. Looking at, I think he won 6 on the trot for Wolves last year at one point, which I think is their best sort of top flight form since the 70s, and he kept them up against the odds, and that's exactly the recipe that Forest need. I was quite alarmed, though. He sort of said rather reassuringly, we cannot change a lot. But then a lot does need to change, I think, particularly psychologically with this bunch of players. And I think the task ahead tonight at Fenerbahce, which, as we know, is going to be, a really difficult, intense, pressurised atmosphere, ones in which Forest recently have wilted. Maybe the change of personnel is all they need. We all know the talent that Forest players have. We all know how dangerous they can be. We saw it last season. But this season, it's been very rare.
Yeah.
And so whilst a lot of the criticism will go towards Evangelos Marinakis, I'm sure we'll talk about Edu and then maybe previous managers, particularly Ange Postecoglou. For me, you have to just look at the players simply and say they've not been good enough. They're on incredible wages, and I've said this numerous times, but the thought shocked me when I was at the City Ground last week when we drew to Wolves. It felt like a team full of players that have relegation clauses in their contracts. And I know that 35 shots, and I know Sean Dyche can't come on and score goals, but for me, the players have to take responsibility. We look at the managers rightly, we look at the ownership structure rightly, but the players have been completely below par and ought to pull themselves up by their bootstraps tonight.
Do you know what you said there about? I think Sean Dyche was hard done by. If you look at his, I think if you'd have kept, I think you'd have stayed up.
33.3% win percent.
Exactly. Yeah, in the Premier League, 40% like in overall.
Yes.
When you said about the players, there's no leadership. No, Marinakis is obviously the head honcho, owns the clubs, and then you've got Edu. But I don't think there's any leadership from anywhere, because after Wolves game, it's reported that he pulled 5 players up and said, what do you think of Sean Dyche? And you know how it's going. As if the players are going to go, well, actually, to be fair, it's our fault. As if they're going to go, yeah, we haven't been performing.
Yeah.
They're going to say, yeah, his training weren't good enough. He's not getting the best out of us. We're not being positive enough. So even then, bringing the players should have no say whatsoever what goes on and who's managed a football club. And you've just highlighted there, that's your problem. You've got too many big-time players.
I do think there's a cultural problem. Although I would say, I also feel uncomfortable with that. I feel uncomfortable with the players having so much influence. But equally, you want your owner to be involved. And I don't know where the line is, Perry. You'll know more than me. But I want the owner to care. I want him to take drastic action if needed.
Not leadership, honestly.
The problem is that it's been so chaotic, so tumultuous, that it's circus-like at the minute.
Yeah.
And all we're doing is hoping and praying that West Ham's resurgence has happened, and that they sort of regress, and Forest somehow managed to put some results together. And the sad thing about it, boys, the sad thing is, for a generation of Forest fans like myself that have never been able to follow our club in the top flight, let alone Europe, we finally got it, and the joy's been taken away, because of course we want Forest to win tonight. Of course we want them to go and do something special in the Europa League, but ultimately, it's all in the back of our minds. It's all about Premier League survival, right? And if I had to choose between the Europa League and relegation, or staying in the Premier League, I'd stay in the Premier League.
Winning the Europa League, you'd stay in the Premier League.
Yes, Because it's an existential crisis, Perry, if Forest go down. The money that they've spent, the players that would leave for prices that, below market rate, I think it would cripple the club. And you've seen what's happened to Luton. You've seen what's happening to Leicester City. And I think there's a very real risk that if Forest go down, that happens, and it cannot. So that, for me anyway, my personal opinion as a fan, is taken the joy away from what should be the most special occasion of my Forest support in life. And it's down to the players, it's down to the owner, and specifically the shadowy figure that is Edu.
We never got round to Eddie because you've got to head off because you're over on TalkSport.
I can elaborate on that afterwards if you want.
Yeah, you can. Maybe we'll talk about Edu because you have your own thoughts on him. It's not been the greatest recruitment, it feels, but we'll let you get to work over on TalkSport. And we'll hear from you later, Max. Thanks very much. Passionate there about what's going on at Forest at the moment. We'll find out how Vitor Pereira gets on. Fenerbahce versus Forest, live on TalkSport 2, 5:45 kick-off, and you'll hear from Max again a little bit later on. Still to come, Tim Vickery brings us the very latest from the world of South American football. From the Wellermen, the fine band, the Wellermen. Johnny Stewart, big Newcastle fan, joins us for a chat fresh from Murrayfield last weekend. He'll tell us about that. And a birthday spread and a bit of Perry on Edu and more. All to come after the news and sports headlines at 3.
Many times, particularly in derby games, Alan, have we seen teams just roll up the sleeves and get another 10-15% or whatever it may be. I think that's the very least the Tottenham fans can expect at the weekend, is a completely all-in, spirited performance. And you know, it's like 9 times out of 10 you get a reaction. A team will get a reaction to a new manager. That's obviously what the Tottenham fans can hope for.
Well, I guarantee you now they're not excited about this fella. But let's give him a chance. Here's Chuda speaking for the first time after being appointed.
Of course, I'm coming here knowing that situation is not easy. There's no time to find excuses. What I said from the first day here, each of us, each of players need to give something more, something extra. It's not enough to just be aware of that. I like to be positive. I like to play offensive football. Of course, that's my first goal I have, that I like to score the goal, but in the same way, for sure, need to give organization in defense. Okay, give the clear structure of the what you want to play.
I mean, that's another one. You talk about, obviously, Pereira getting the Forest job, gamble. This is a gamble.
Yeah.
Because
I told you, Tony.
Well, they're in it, aren't they?
My friend Tony sent me his record, and it's
not great. It's not ideal, is it?
It's bad. I'm astonished he's got the job, to be honest.
Well, I know.
Yes, the birthday spread will continue even without Charlie. I'll be taking on Perry a little bit later, and I'm sure he'll be playing along at home as well. That's all to come, but first, Will Hobbs has the sports headlines.
TalkSport Sports Update, powered by the Nissan van range. Scoring a winning hat-trick of performance, payload and price. Search Nissan vans or head to your local Nissan van centre.
Thank you, Paul. Some breaking Arsenal news. We know Bukayo Saka is now Arsenal's highest paid player, but we now know that his new deal, will run until 2030. Elsewhere, have Arsenal really bottled it already? Not according to Simon Jordan.
I still think they will. I still think it was never going to be easy, and why should it be easy to win a Premier League? They were always going to have to battle to win their first Premier League in the best part of a quarter of a century.
Former Arsenal man Perry Groves knows all about a tetchy title race, having beaten Liverpool on the last day of the season in 1989. He says back then it all came down to the calmness of George Graham.
I was talking to Merce, and Merce was like, is he on arm on or what? Is he like seen the same games? Liverpool were on this 21-game unbeaten streak, and nobody beat them 2-0 at Anfield. But it was his demeanour and the way that he carried himself, and we all bought in to him. So if we had any little doubts, because we'd never won it before.
In the Six Nations, Gabriel Hamer-Webb will make his Wales debut this weekend as Steve Tanney rings the changes. Meanwhile, Jack Crowley will start at fly half for Ireland against England as one of 5 Andy Farrell changes. They didn't even have to qualify for the last edition of the tournament. They didn't qualify, but Zimbabwe have progressed through their group unbeaten at the T20 World Cup. Australia, of course, are out. It's reported Pakistan's cricketers, meanwhile, are not being considered by Indian-owned sides for next month's 100 auction. 4 of the 100's 8 franchises are now at least part-owned by companies that control IPL teams. And Moses Itauma's next opponent, Jermaine Franklin, says he's not happy, with many seeing him simply as the next springboard for the young man's career.
Yeah, I'm fully convinced I'm going to bring it home. I'm fully convinced I'm going to show people some stuff that they never seen from me before. I've been working on trying to go back to some old stuff I used to do. And I'm fully confident in my coach and my game plan.
That fight is on the 28th of March. There's more at TalkSport.com.
TalkSport News.
The King says the law must take its course as his brother Andrew is arrested while police search the former Prince's properties in Windsor and Norfolk. More from the news team at 5:30.
TalkSport weather with QuickFit. Whatever the weather, our range of services is longer than the queue at the Chippy on a Friday night. Tyres, MOTs, brakes and more. Book today at quickfit.com.
The rain and sleet easing across eastern and central England. Showers moving across Northern Ireland and western Scotland. Windy in the southwest and the north, all round feeling chilly.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Perry Groves here on TalkSport. Birthday spread to come. Tim Vickery brings us the very latest from South America. Understandably, an awful lot of fallout from the awful events at the game between Benfica and Real Madrid, and Vinny Jr. at the centre of that. And we'll be hearing from Tim what has been said over in Brazil. And we'll have a birthday spread, as we said, for you. But before that, just that confirmation then from the club that Bukayo Saka's going to be there at 2030. And I was saying to Andy the other day, I mean, I never thought for 1 minute he was going to go anywhere else. There was no real jeopardy there. I mean, it's always nice to tie a player down, but why would he want to go anywhere else at the moment? Well, I think as well, if you look, he's come through the, obviously, Highland Academy, all the way through. He's Arsenal through and through from, I think, about 10, 11. And I think he feels that this is a group of players that he wants to be a part of because he thinks that they're on the cusp of something pretty special.
Yeah.
You've got to win it. You've got to win, said Premier League or Champions League, whatever. But obviously they've tied down Saliba, Gabriel, all to like long-term contracts. So Arsenal fans, you say, I don't think it's a massive surprise, but they're still just, what it does just calms everybody down a bit. You know what I mean? And what Arsenal do well is now is with the players they want to keep, they don't let them get into the last 18 months of their contract because then they become like in control. I think Saliba was fairly close.
Yeah.
And obviously it was reported it might go to Real Madrid, were interested in him. But all that does when your manager or your agent goes in, it just puts obviously your wages up. So
Sure.
yeah, so I think with Saka, you're going to have the best years of his career. When he's at his peak, and again, he can only get better. He's only going to improve.
Just a quick one on Edu. We were chatting to Max there, and we never got round to that conversation. There's a big piece in the Telegraph today by John Percy, a man well connected in the Midlands. Edu exit seems inevitable as Forest ring falls flat. The Brazilian oversaw £200 million of signings, but costly flops paid to 3 managers and left head of football sidelined. I mean, there's 1 or 2 players here I'd forgotten about. One who came in for 26 million, didn't get a game really, and then has gone on loan to the Bundesliga and has been player of the month. I mean, you experienced him at Arsenal, of course, and you would have kept an eye on what was going on. I mean, what do you make of what's going on there?
Is Edu's head above the parapet or not? No, or is Edu's below the parapet?
Is Edu above the parapet?
Exactly.
That's a very good question, Perry.
Because the thing, when he left, there was a lot of Arsenal fans were worried. They said, well, Edu's going, and he was, part of
He did pick up some very good Brazilian talent for you, didn't he?
He did, but he shoehorned himself onto the end of Mikel Arteta's success, because if you go back into the All Nothing documentary, which some of it was really good, some of it was a bit strange.
Yeah, I enjoyed the last episode. We won't
go there. Yeah. but there was a situation there where Arteta was trying to make his mark, and he basically said, "It's Aubameyang or me, because I want to change this culture." Aubameyang's turning up, different colour Lamborghini every game, could turn up late for meetings, and because he was the main player, and Edu and the rest of the sporting side of it, they weren't sure. They were saying, well, no, we can't get rid of him because he's our top goal scorer. Just looking at the documentary, he's our top goal scorer. And it was like a 50-50. And in the end, Arteta just said, well, it's me or him.
Yeah.
And they went with Arteta. And then you fast forward 6 months, and then Edu does his interviews going, yeah, well, actually, we had to change that culture at Arsenal. And you think, hold on, mate, you're the one who wanted to keep Aubameyang. So I'm a bit, this sporting director, I think he's supposed to be in charge of the whole group, isn't he? Not
exactly,
Forest,
all the
Olympiacos
clubs,
all the clubs as well. So, and what's happening now is at least sporting directors now are becoming accountable, because before they rarely
just
got
they were in the shadows a bit.
Exactly,
weren't they?
Now you say, right, if you're having the power and it's you deciding the players that come in, if it doesn't work, the buck's got to stop at you. Exactly. So. And we know what Marinakis is. I think this all goes. I know Max was unbelievable. I loved his passion, Max, there. I still think it goes back. I know Forest fans love Marinakis because of what he's done for the club, put the money in. But when he went on the pitch against Leicester and he undermined Nuno Espirito Santo, and he said it wasn't about tactics, it was about, the player and his whatever. That's what you don't do. And I know that he owns the club, and I know that, Forest are wealthy because they've got his backing. But you don't undermine a manager when you walk on the pitch. And from then on, I said that Nuno would be done because he's got an ego as well. And he'll be thinking, you don't do that to me. If you want to have a word with me, have a word with me in the players' tunnel, behind the scenes. And it was all just basically a pack of cards from there, wasn't it? It was all, then obviously, Nuno Espirito Santo. If he was still in charge of Nottingham Forest, Nuno Espirito Santo, there's no way in the world that Nottingham Forest would be in the position they're in. Yeah. And that all comes down to Marinakis' ego.
Just making knee-jerk decisions. I mean, it was interesting. We had a Forest fan who's a listener of the show saying, I love his passion. His passion has kind of got us where we are. He wouldn't have spent the money on the team. But maybe there is a bit of a tipping point. I don't know. Anyway, let's bring you a bit of music now from the Wellermen. We're going to chat to Johnny Stewart from the band very shortly. They first hear Barrett's Privateers, their new song.
Oh, the year was 1778. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. A letter of marque came from the king to the scummiest vessel I've ever seen. I'd end them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fight.
If you were at Murrayfield last week, you may well have heard that before the game because the guys had the chance to perform there. Johnny Stewart from the Wellermen joins us now. Hello, Johnny.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hello, Johnny. Pleasure. That must have been a buzz on the pitch.
My goodness, yeah. Singing on the pitch at Murrayfield as the players are warming up around you, getting to see like Freddie Stewart nail like practice kicks from the halfway line, and see a thoroughly scintillating Scotland performance was absolute treat.
Yeah, it was a bit painful for us England fans, of course.
Yeah, so we don't share that view, to be fair. Exactly.
You are a Newcastle fan. We're going to come into that in a minute. But just listening to that, is that a song from the sort of 1800s, or do you kind of write your own material in the style of those old songs?
So this song is a cover of a song by the Canadian musician Stan Rogers called Barrett's Privateers. Stan Rogers is a Canadian music legend who popularized folk music and sea shanties for a lot of people. With the Wellermen, it's a blend of putting our spin on traditional folk tunes and shanties, covering some by other artists, but more recently writing our own material as well.
Do you find a bit more pressure? You said when you're doing the cover of Stan Rogers, do you find there's a little bit more pressure on you to do it justice?
There's inevitably an element of comparison to it. With Stan Rogers being the amazing musician that he was, we can't hope to do it the same way that Stan Rogers would have done. But Stan Rogers didn't have the benefit of two absurdly low bass singers, which we think makes our version a little bit different.
Yeah. Johnny, just looking at your role in the group and in the band, you're a bit like sort of a Declan Rice because you do everything.
Well, one of the beauties of the group is that everyone is their own distinct personality and everyone shines in the way that they shine. My background is in arranging and sort of music direction. So I often come up with some of the harmonies that we end up doing on stage and in the studio. But when it comes to writing songs, every member of the group takes a lead with songwriting. And in our stage performances, I'm usually the one standing near the back and not enjoying the limelight as much as the others do.
Now, you are a Newcastle fan. We can't hear a thick Geordie accent there. I was reading a little piece online from the mag a while back around the Carabao Cup final. But so it's a kind of weird sort of story as to how you became a Newcastle fan, isn't it?
Oh, it's a very long story, and I think that might take us to time. But the short version is my godfather was from Jesmond, and that got me into being a fan of the team as a kid when we were good, and then seasons of mediocrity, 13th places, 2 relegations. But it's nice to see us back fighting in Europe for sure.
And when for that, you were away touring when you were in the States, but you found some fellow Toon fans to watch the final with.
Yeah, in Denver. We'd just done a show in Boulder, and then because I knew we were going to be out on tour around the time of the final, I was frantically messaging people asking where can I watch the game around here, and the Mile High Magpies, the Denver supporters group, gladly hosted me. So it would have been like really early in the morning Colorado time. Wow. But sort of about 110 Geordies and like three Liverpool fans piled into the pub.
So Johnny, like you said, like you're sort of the back singing engineer, arranger, director. Looking at this Newcastle team at the moment, what role do you think you would fill in that Newcastle team?
Well, he's 6'5", so maybe the Dan Burn role. Is that what that's it? Maybe that. Yeah.
Dan Burn's got 2 inches on me.
Yeah.
I should say one of the things I love about us is there's no director per se. We all lead in our own different areas. There's things that some members of the group can do that I can't do in a million years. And I think much like a good sports team, like a good band has that interplay and like sharing of roles. So in the Newcastle team, when I played football, so socially with other musicians at Weaversfield Wanderers on a Tuesday morning, they called me the Mountain because of being 6'5", standing at centre back and a bit uncompromising with tackles.
Right.
So probably centre back, but being a Newcastle fan, like I have that passion for the quixotic, like the entertaining, the maverick player. So seeing someone like Nick Voltemada being 6'6"
in the 10,
that beautiful touch. It's been really cool seeing him drop back a little bit, and also Anthony Gordon playing a bit more centrally is not something I thought we'd see this season, but it's been working out really well the last couple of games.
Brilliant. Well, Barrett's Privateers is on the new 1778 EP. You can follow the Wellermen on all your socials, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and they have their own website as well. Good to talk to you, Johnny. Thanks very much.
Absolute blast.
Thanks, Johnny.
There we are. There's from the Wellermen, Johnny Stewart.
Just looking at there, talks very well, very calm, very placid. When he's on the pitch, I bet he's a different.
Yeah, so they call him the Mountain
because he's rocking ginger beard, ginger hair. So
you can a fellow ginge.
You cannot be tranquil and like really calm if you've got that trait. No chance.
Tim Vickery will be joining us very shortly with the very latest from South American football. Of course, the events in Lisbon the other day have been front and centre with Vinny Jr. And Tim will be giving us all the fallout from Brazil very shortly. We're here with Tool Station. Pick up your wet weather essentials today. Next stop, Tool Station.
Alex, let's finish with a player we know from his time here at Chelsea, who's been more recently ploughing his trade in Germany. Reports in Germany suggest Nicholas Jackson is expected to return to Chelsea this summer because he hasn't played enough games for Bayern Munich to trigger the obligation to buy clause in his loan agreement. What more have you got in this?
Yeah, do you know what? When this deal was done, everybody said what a great piece of business it was for Chelsea because the buy option was £56 million. I never saw a scenario where Bayern Munich were going to take that up because he's just not a £60 million player, is he? Nicholas Jackson. He's got 5 goals in 22 games. They don't want to keep him. He's going to be coming back to Stamford Bridge. But I don't see a scenario where he's reintegrated into the Chelsea first team. I think they will look to sell him in the summer, but probably will have to accept a much reduced fee. And it was always going to be difficult for him to go to a club like Bayern and force his way past one Harry Kane. So these loan deals with options, some of them are not really worth the paper they're written on. I've got the option to apply for a place in the Mr. Universe contest. I'm not going to do that either.
I think you're on the way.
I like that. Danny, when it comes down to it, you've got Nicholas Jackson or you've got Liam Delap. Who do you play?
Well, at the moment, with Delap's form, although I like him, Jackson in his first Chelsea season has done better than Delap has done. He's more of a goal threat.
Yeah.
I actually think Cole Palmer misses Nicholas Jackson a little bit.
Just to let you know that the latest episode of How to Win the World Cup, the podcast, is out now. Matt Ford and Lloyd Griffiths, they sit down with the journalist Henry Winter. They discuss his experience of covering 9 World Cups in a row and how much the media can influence what happens on the pitch. So that's Matt and Lloyd with Henry Winter and How to Win the World Cup. It's available now wherever you get your podcasts. Time to talk South American football once again with Tim Vickery. Good afternoon, Tim.
Afternoon, gentlemen. How you doing?
Hi, Tim. Good, thank you. I would imagine that the events in Lisbon the other night have dominated what's been happening in Brazilian football, and what happened to Vinny Jr. against Benfica. What has been the fallout over there?
Same as it ever was. Same again and again and again. Now, Vinny didn't have to go to Europe to discover racism. You know, he came through all of that in Brazil. Remember, Brazil didn't abolish enslavement until 1888. So he's experienced all of that in Brazil. And I think he's doing European, especially Spanish society, he's doing a massive service. They should give him an award because he is forcing Spanish society and now Portuguese society to confront their own racism, because it's absolutely obvious. It's obvious and it's clear, the racism that he's getting from the stands. On the pitch, yet again, it's Argentine players, yet again. Argentine football has a huge problem with this. I mean, it's very hard for them to accept that this is a line of behaviour that is unacceptable. Can't do it. You can't do it. It's not an all's fair in love and war on the football field. It's not. This kind of behaviour on a football field is absolutely unacceptable. And every time a Brazilian side goes down to Argentina to play, there are always monkey gestures coming from the stands. And at times there are comments coming from the players as well. So it's not a huge story over here, just because, we've passed this way so many times before.
Yeah. Do you know what, Tim? Like Prestiani, it's a bit of a giveaway that you put your shirt over your mouth, because obviously you don't want to be lip read. And I find it outrageous. Jose Mourinho's comments afterwards saying, well, it's Vinicius Jr., we've been there, but as if to say it's him who's causing the trouble. It's him who's being brave. And his reaction, you can tell straight away that what was said was totally unacceptable, because the way that he reacted, he didn't make it up, did he? He didn't go through his head and think, what am I doing? I'm going to make it up and run.
He doesn't want to be at the centre.
Exactly.
He's had enough of it in La Liga.
And what I think as well, Tim, is obviously there's going to be Prestiani say what he said and Vinicius Jr. say what he's... I don't think they should let Prestiani know what Vinicius Jr. says that he heard, because if that comes out first, then he'll change it. You know what they'll do? They'll say, oh, he's misinterpreted, or he's misheard me, or they'll try and change the wording, because he needs to be back now, Vinicius, to the full, because you should there. It is totally unacceptable. And also, while I'm on the subject of Mourinho saying about the way that he celebrated, is Mourinho having a laugh? Have you seen him celebrate, Mourinho, when he runs down the touchline and does a knee slide? Honestly, it's the lack of awareness that blows my mind for people who are supposed to be so intelligent.
Yeah,
it's outrageous.
Let's move on. We're going to talk about Jesse Lingard, who could be moving to Brazil.
Well, he's in talks. Yeah, he's in talks with a club called Remo, which means rowing. Loads of the big Brazilian clubs, they started life as rowing clubs. Don't ever say you don't learn anything from me. Anyway, it is a little bit left field. Remo are right up in the north of Brazil, Belém, which is actually the Portuguese translation of Bethlehem. And there was once a Brazilian player who went to play there, and he said, I am so honoured to be playing in the very place where Christ was born. And it had to be explained that really wasn't the case. But anyway, what I wonder is going on here, because Remo are newly promoted and everyone expects them to go straight back down. 3 rounds into the Brazilian Championship, they've got 2 draws and a defeat. It's a hard slog that you're going there, Jesse Lingard. If you're going to go there, it's a hard slog. First, because it's a battle. You're going to be battling against relegation all year. Secondly, because look at the map. Now, the heartland of Brazilian football is in the southeast. Rio, Sao Paulo, also Belo Horizonte. Remo, where they are, almost every away game is like a 4-hour plane journey.
Wow.
Brazil is vast. So there are easier ways to earn your money than signing for Remo. What I wonder, this is putting on my kind of Dick Dastardly and his snickering hound hat.
Mm-hmm.
What I would do in the circumstances is draw the negotiation out a little bit. See if anyone else comes through. Because maybe there'll be more Brazilian clubs.
Smoke somebody out, another club,
Yes.
Mm.
Yes, that's what I would do in his situation.
Can he borrow...
It would be Go on, Perry.
Can he borrow Dick Dastardly's plane then?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah. Stop the pigeon.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So he's in South Korea at the moment. It would be an interesting tropical adventure, but it's not an easy way to make your money.
No, interesting. Now, somebody else who we know from the Premier League, Felipe Coutinho, has been playing for his boyhood club, Vasco da Gama, but not anymore, Tim.
No, he's walked out. He's walked out. He's cited mental health issues and kind of distress, and he's walked out.
Wow.
Vasco's a hard ask at the moment. And Brazilian fans can be really brutal. And Vasco here in my adopted city of Rio. The other Rio teams have all won serious silverware recently, and Vasco haven't. And they're feeling it. And him as the number 10, he's been really feeling it. He got substituted at half time in their last game, and he's been getting it from the stands. And he's been getting it. What he's blaming is social media influencers, people having a pop at him, and he just said, "It's too much. I don't want this anymore." This is of interest and of relevance for Crystal Palace fans, because Mateus França, the attacking midfielder, is on loan at Vasco from Crystal Palace, and Palace loaned him back, hoping he would get some confidence. It's a tough task for Mateus França because he is a product of Vasco's big rivals, Flamengo. So, walking into Vasco, it's a hard ask, and he's been dreadful, and he can't get a game. Wow. And he's just shorn of all confidence because in part of this kind of atmosphere that Coutinho is complaining about, this negativity around the stadium. Now with Coutinho gone, it could work a little bit in his favour because he might get a little bit more game time. But it does illustrate why Mateus França back to Brazil with Vasco da Gama has been so difficult, because if the fans are willing to turn on one of their own, like Felipe Coutinho, someone who came from their big rival, he's obviously not going to have an easy ride.
Wow, good stuff. We're out of time, Tim. We'll catch up with you soon. Thanks very much. Cheers, Tim.
Look forward to it. Cheers.
Tim Vickery, our South American correspondent there, looking at all the big stories of the week. We've got a birthday spread coming up next, Perry. We have played before. I think I've been triumphant, but the man with the stats will be Jeff Peters. We'll find out what's happened when we played our. I think we've played a couple of times, haven't we?
And I haven't won any.
Okay. Well, look, this could be the one. This could be
not
the
that
one.
it's bothering me at all.
No,
not that you're not in.
Well,
my
you're
head.
as a professional sports person, you'll be very competitive generally, won't you?
Yeah, I hate losing anything.
Well, it's coming up next. Andy Jacobs has got the gags. Jeff Peters will be keeping score. Hopefully you'll be playing along at home. Yep, the birthday spread. Can I make it 8 in a row? We'll find out very shortly.
I don't enjoy all what goes on. Of course I don't. Who does? I don't want to see none of that. I don't like all the ranting and raving. John's obviously got a problem, him and Carl Frock, I don't know, with the two of them, and it is what it is. But it's nothing to do with me. And I've got to be honest, I have no regard for it. It's irrelevant to me. All I care about is what Tyson's doing and the fight. The rest of it's a sideshow.
You say that, Frank, but you are the promoter.
I'm not the promoter.
You're Tyson's promoter.
I'm Tyson's promoter, but I'm not the promoter of the event. It's a ring event. It's on, I have an exclusive contract with DAZN. This fight's on, as you well know, it's on Netflix.
But if you're uncomfortable with it, Frank, might you not have a word with Tyson?
I don't understand. Sorry, but I'm not responsible for what people do or in their family members are in or are with them or whether that's down to them. It's nothing that I'm not responsible, nor would I take the responsibility for that. It's no different if one of your relations starts ranting and raving and screaming and shouting. It's not down to you.
If it were an event that you were the promoter of note on, say, for example, you make the fight between the winner of Dubois versus Wardley, and you see this sort of behaviour exhibiting itself, would you put a stop to it? Would you suggest that you'd exclude John from press conferences if he can't conduct himself in an appropriate fashion?
I'm quite sure if it was my event, John would show a lot of respect for it.
How do you take the pressure off these tense Arsenal players? Well, Piers Morgan would give them a week off.
I want these guys on a plane somewhere warm on Monday morning until Friday. I want them playing zero football. They look completely mentally frazzled and physically jaded. So let's just give them a break.
After this weekend's North London derby, Arsenal don't play again till Chelsea the following Sunday. Mikel Arteta told us he was too sensitive to talk after Arsenal blew that 2-goal lead at Wolves. Now, could Newcastle do Arsenal a favour this weekend?
I think we can go to Man City and play with no fear, because if you think back to the cup tie and particularly the second half, we created chances, we created opportunities.
Former Newcastle coach John Carver there. Now, Arne Slot hopes his Liverpool players would also walk off if they suspected racist abuse, and says football needs to do more than society to combat racism.
That's maybe not so difficult, by the way, but and I think protocol has been followed during the game, so that's the first step. And now, and I think the football world reacted as you expected to react.
He was asked about the Vinicius Junior situation there. Meanwhile, it's understood UEFA could take 3 weeks to investigate Vinicius Junior's allegations. Benfica's Gianluca Prestiani racially abused him. And in the Six Nations, Gabriel Hamer-Webb will make his Wales debut this weekend as Steve Tandy rings in the changes. There's more at TalkSport.com.
Yes, it is Paul Hawksbee and Perry Groves, and despite Charlie not being here, we will continue with the birthday spread. I've played Perry a couple of times before, and I think I've come out on top, but Jeff Peters can confirm in a few moments' time. First, Andy Jacobs, the man with the jokes, who has compiled the birthdays, joins us. Good afternoon, Andy.
Good afternoon, boys, and no prizes for guessing whose birthday I won't be putting in today.
No, okay, I think we can draw a veil over that one. So the way it works is this: Andy's going to have 10 birthdays. He's put 10 birthdays together, and it's the job of himself and Perry to guess how old these people are. Some will know, so we'll have a bit of an educated guess, Perry, of course. Some we won't, so we'll just have to
stab in the dark.
Make a bit of a punt based on what they do and etc. Jeff Peters keeps score. Good afternoon, Jeff.
Good afternoon. I think the production staff were sweating a bit about that one, but thankfully not in the spread today. Now, this is Perry's fourth time. Fourth time on the spread.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Lost twice last year, 3 in total, all to Paul, who obviously has been in great form, 7 wins in a row. And Perry, if you want to be like Charlie Baker, you need to follow his rules, which are constantly accuse Paul of cheating, guess the wrong way, laugh at your own jokes, be abusive to Topper Peters, cry like a baby when it doesn't go your way, and call it a waste of half hour and a stupid kids game.
That's pretty much summed up Charlie's approach to the game.
So are you saying that Charlie's a bad loser, basically?
You're saying that?
Yeah.
Show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser.
Well, there we are. Perry's a very competitive man. You don't become a top sports person otherwise, do you? So he's going to want to win this. So, a margin of error will build as we make our guesses, and it's the one with the shortest margin of error that is the winner at the end of the day. Let us know how you're getting on at half-time, as you often
It's the
do.
North London derby, isn't it? Today?
It is a North London derby. Queuing up, just kind of getting us ready in the mood.
This is the starter, is it?
Yes. That's it. We are the hors d'oeuvres. So here we go then. Here's Pele and Sergio Mendes.
Okay, we get underway talking of top sportsmen with the basketball player, 6-time NBA champion Michael Jordan.
Wow.
And one time we were living in Chicago in a house that was between Michael's and his teammate Scottie Pippen. They would both ask Sue if she'd take their washing out to dry. She refused Pippen's, but was happy to air Jordan's.
Oh, that's very good.
Loving your work, and
now I would say, there we are. Josh Whittaker's laugh. Now he's one of those. Is he late 50s? Is he early 60s? Am I getting carried away? Shall I say I'm going to go 59? But I think I might have undercooked it, Perry. But it's completely up to you. I don't know. I remember him playing, but it's a long time ago.
I'm going to go. If he was 90s, I'm 60. I'm going to go 62.
Ooh, good. 63. What a start.
Yeah, I knew I'd undercooked it. It just doesn't look old. Yeah, Perry's been reading the papers. All the hard times.
That's outrageous. I found that offensive.
The Hackney Gazette out, yes. Okay, what's the scores then, Jeff?
It's Paul 4, Perry 1. Perry leads by 3.
Good start by Perry. And then, Perry leads us off. We alternate to stop.
Arsenal good at that, though, to be fair at the minute.
That is true. That is true.
Late collapse. Okay, we're going with the bassist of Joy Division and New Order, Peter Hook. Peter Hook. And Peter also likes to dabble in painting, but his style is very similar to one of the BBC's oldest football pundits. I can never tell if the work is by hook or by crooks.
Oh, very good. Nice, yeah. Hookie. What do you reckon?
Hookie.
So it's part of the Hacienda scene, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Manchester
He's
scene.
been a guest in the studio with us quite a lot of times over the years. A good guy, is.
Got to be.
Of course, I don't remember him at all.
No, Andy, so good. Forget it. Yeah.
59.
I think he might be a bit older than that. 65.
70, believe it.
Oh, no, really?
Looks good.
Yeah, okay. So
Joy Division was what, 78, 79?
I suppose it was,
yeah,
really, yeah.
So Paul is 5 out on his guess, so moves on to 9. Perry 11 out, so is on 12. So Perry was leading by 3, and now Paul is leading by 3.
Oh, okay. Well, we move on to birthday number 3. Back to me, Andy.
Birthday number 3, I won't do a Clive and give you an explanation. It's Yoko Ono.
Okay.
Yoko Ono. And I was
Not the plumber.
Not the plumber. I was recently at the Over-80s Olympics with one of the worst players ever to play for Chelsea. And I couldn't believe it when he placed a massive wager on her to win the 100 metres. I said, I can't believe you're going to back a Yoko.
Back a Yoko. That's very good. That's good. Blimey.
Completely unmoved.
Yeah, he's constant.
Back a Yoko Saka.
Back a Yoko. That's it, yeah. She's got getting on there, hasn't she, Yoko, with respect. I doubt she's
listening.
I doubt she. Yoko, if you're listening. But do you think Yoko Ono listens to this show? I mean, maybe just tunes in for the birthday spread.
Imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the material. I'd say she's 86. Maybe she's older than that.
I'm going to go. Oh, look at you with
86,
your mind games. You say, can you just think that and not say?
Sorry, 86.
Yeah, right. I'm going to go.
He's got Paul Suss.
I'm going to go. She can't be 88, 87, can she? No way, Pedro. 84.
You know what? She's 93.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm just a jealous guy.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
93. Oh, no. Okay, so what?
Exactly.
What? So, Jeff, we're not having a great day today. What's going on?
So, Paul, 7 years out with his guess, on to 16. Perry, 9 years out, on to 21. So, Paul leads by 5 after 3.
It's very little, isn't it?
I'm all right with this. Got to stay in it. Stay in it up to half time.
So, on to birthday number 4 with Perry to lead us off. Here we go, Andy.
Okay, Perry, birthday number 4, the 3-time Wimbledon champion, John McEnroe. And he keeps badgering me to ask the producer of First Dates if he could replace the current host of the show. I had to say to him, you cannot be serious.
Oh, okay, yeah. Is he still on it?
You cannot be serious.
There he is.
That ball was on the line.
Here we are.
I had a feeling that might be coming.
Yeah.
Jolly good forehand.
So did
I. Again.
Yes.
Well, you know.
You cannot be serious.
Classic.
Jolly good forehand, jolly good backhand, McEnroe.
Who said that? Was that Dan Maskell?
Yeah, I know, but I think it was the song as well, wasn't it?
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, what? That Chalk Dust.
That's it,
song,
yeah,
was
yeah.
it? Roger
Oh, yeah,
Kidder.
Roger Kidder. There's one for the teenagers from the 70s.
Yes, indeed.
I'm going to go, if I was watching him at Wimbledon when he came in, then he was like, no one had heard of him.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go from 61. He's got to be 72.
69.
He's 67.
Oh, okay. You're on a bit
I
behind
once,
it.
this is not a joke. I went to a bar mitzvah once, and Roger Kidder was doing the sort of after dinner.
Right.
And put it this way, as Alan would say, he was working from the Blue Book.
Really, at a bar mitzvah?
Yeah, it all went a bit strange.
It's a strange time to do the edgy
Very
material.
enjoyable.
That's a niche audience.
One for the dads. Oh yeah, I suppose it's sort of saying, well, you're an adult now. You can take jokes like that. Blimey, were people fainting?
Well, it was a little bit of that. Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't remember
Well,
right. It was
okay.
a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Fair enough.
That is definitely one for the teenagers, then, isn't
That certainly was. It was.
I mean, it's a good 35
Literally.
years ago.
35 years ago, yeah, maybe. Okay, so what's that done to the? We haven't guessed yet, have we? Yes,
You
we
have
have.
guessed.
What's that done to the scores?
Paul 2 years out onto 18.
Yeah.
Perry 5 years out onto 26. So 8 is the gap after 4.
Still very surmountable, that as a gap. So we go into half-time, and again, as always, we'd love to know how you're getting on at half-time. I'll lead us off with birthday number 5, Andy. Is this one we know or not?
Yeah, I think virtually all of them this week,
Oh, wow,
except for
okay.
one. I know, it's a very unusual week. It's the England rugby player, Ellis Genge. Ellis Genge. And I've managed to get him a guest slot on a pilot revival of Noel's House Party.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it ended in Ellis Gunge.
Oh, okay. You love your rugby, don't you? So you'll be quite good at this. I'm going to go 31. Is he a bit older than that?
Were you asking me or telling me?
Well, I don't know.
Don't know really.
Yeah,
There's a lot of housery going on. He's going
Honestly.
he's going for the 8, aren't you? You're definitely going for the 8.
I've gone 31.
I'm going to go
Stay in here, Perry. Yeah,
29.
Just remember. Yeah.
29.
Standard 31.
Oh, so I got it right. I was thinking he was early 30.
Bullseye.
So I stay on 18, Jeff.
You do, and Perry moves up to 28. So 10 is the gap at the
still
halfway
doable.
stage.
Still doable.
Normally at this stage, Charlie be saying, "What's the point? It's an
I can
absolute
claw it
waste of
back.
time. No one.
He
What's
gives
the give up? There's no
I can
point."
claw it back.
And then he wins at the end, and he's saying what a great sport he is. That's the way it tends to work. Well, let's see. 28 plays 18. Let us know how you're getting on. TalkSport.com/H&J. Text to 81089 or tweet to TSH&J. And we'll look at your scores. You're probably doing better than us. These were much more gettable, really, than usual. So we could have some very low scores in there. But second half of the birthday spread is up next. We're here with Tool Station. Pick up your wet weather essentials today. Next stop, Tool Station.
Gabriel Jesus got frustrated at the end, pushed the player. Even our coaches, set piece coach, losing it a little bit because we know that right now it's on the line.
Yes.
And we need, normally I'm Mr. Calm, I'm Mr. Keep it easy, batting here and there, but no, it's time.
Well, Mikel now, is this where, before kick-off 5 minutes, he locks the door. He says, don't you dare let yourselves down. Look around you. Player for player, we're different class to Tottenham. Do not blow it now. Get out there, concentrate, win your 50-50s and get our game going. Then we beat this mob. If the attitude is not 100%, you're in for a shock. Do not let me down and don't let your mate next to you down. He's got to do that. This is a big game.
If he doesn't do that, I'll be surprised. I'll be disappointed, heartbroken, and shocked. We need the boys to galvanise together, man. This is the time. Because honestly, I can't have this man on my right-hand side here, Gabby, you know, at the end of the season, singing second again, ole, ole.
Say if you do finish second, what happens if the dog win? Does the dog stay?
Listen, mate.
Or does the dog go? Does the dog have more game time on the training pitch?
This is nothing to do with the dog. Leave Win alone. The dog Win at Arsenal training ground, for those of you who don't know. Everything we have at the training ground gears us up to win. But it doesn't matter how much writing we have. It doesn't matter how many, you know, training sessions we have with scenario.
It's the second half of the birthday spread with the scores at 18 to me, 28 to Perry. The lowest score wins, of course. Simon's been in touch. 28 out and loving Paul's housery. Not housery, I'm just sort of thinking out loud after I've done a guess.
But you've got a really...
Is it unfair?
You've got Dr. Evil smirk on your face.
I'll stop doing it. Can we have a Banbury cake? That's a newspaper, apparently, that Charlie reads to get the birthdays. Having trashed the boys 5-0 and guessed the attendance, I'm now 15 plus today. Stupid game, waste of half an hour, says Andrew in Basingstoke.
But thanks for your contribution, and you're still playing it.
Yes, thank you. Dave from Skem says a blue Thursday due to Hooky and Ono. And a 94th minute collapse, leaving me on 43 at half time.
Makes me feel better.
Time to bring on a sub to waste some time, says Dave. I'm on 9, 2 direct hits, says Savo, the Liverpool fan.
Standard.
Pembroke Dock, yeah. Well, no, that's very harsh, Jeff. We've got to trust the listeners.
Is he wicked up, is he?
It could be.
Yeah.
Let's get underway then. Perry leads us off, second half, birthday number 6, Andy.
Okay, Perry, it's the fine Indian cricketer. He played from 69 to 83, Gundappa Vishwanath. And last year, he was on Indian TV's version of The Weakest Link with Jeanette Cranky, who after a particularly stupid round voted him out. When asked by the host why, she said, Gundappa Dozy.
Oh, right.
Come on.
Beautiful.
He's here all week. Is it my go or Paul's go?
It is your go.
It's my go, is it?
69 to 86 he played, Perry. So.
Right, so I'm going to go 80.
That's a good guess. I was thinking similar.
Oh, don't patronise.
No, it is a good guess.
That's a good guess. Well, you're going to pat me on the head. Oh, well done.
I'll say 81.
77.
Oh, I went wrong way Regals there. So Perry chipping away at the score.
Yeah, but I can see your tactics. Every time I have a game, yours is going to go one different.
No, that's why we alternate.
Yeah.
So that's why the 10th birthday we can't do that. You know, we've built in a fail-safe, I hope. So what's the scores? Yeah.
4 out onto 22. Perry 3 out onto 31. Cuts the lead to 9 with 4 to go.
9. Clawing back. On to birthday number 7 then, Andy.
Okay, it's the comedian and actor from Outnumbered, Hugh Dennis.
Hugh Dennis, yeah.
And when I was working in Savile Row, Hugh came to me for a bespoke suit. I was very happy to be Dennis Taylor.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Well, Hugh and his wife, Claire Skinner, play a lot of doubles tennis, but once they were in their TV show up against 4 opponents instead of 2, it seemed unfair, Hugh and Claire being outnumbered. I probably should play the recycle jingle because I did that last year.
Oh, okay. Even he's recycling his game.
Well, you're not going out tonight, are you?
Yes. I'd say, what is Hugh Dennis? He could be 60.
Same age. He looks good if he's the same age as me. I'm going to go 58.
64.
Whoa.
Blimey,
He does a lot of cycling.
He does
Oh,
look good.
okay, he does a lot. He does do a lot of cycling. There we are. So what's that done at the scores, Jeff?
And of course, he's also friends with Lord Paul Bew and Erin Cuthbert and Charlie Anyway, of
course he is, yeah.
So Paul is 4 out onto 26.
Yeah.
Perry 6 out onto 37. 11 the gap. 3 to go.
Perry still getting will still be no need to chuck the nani yet. Here we go. Birthday number 8. Perry leading us off.
Yes, Perry. It's the actress Christina Ricci. And when she used to stay with us, Ricci would always greet the family by saying, "Morning, everyone."
Christina Ricci, the actress.
That was a Richie Benno joke.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Don't. Thing is, you're getting patronised now by Jeff explaining your joke. As if we didn't get it.
I'm used to pure silence. I get worried if people start laughing.
I looked at Perry's face. He doesn't sound like you're familiar with the work of Christina Ricci.
No, nowhere near.
We're not giving clues, are we?
No,
because we're
it's
not
all right,
patronising him.
Yeah. Christina Ricci, 50.
That's not a bad guess.
I'll leave off.
She was in, wasn't she? Was in the Addams Family loads years ago as a little kid.
Yes, that's true.
49?
46.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That
Extends.
I'm happy with 50. Considering you didn't know she was.
I'm happy with 50, to be fair.
You should be.
Yeah. So, what's that done to scores, Jeff?
Paul 3 out onto 29, Perry 4 out onto 41. So 12 the gap, 2 to go.
12 the gap, 2 to go. Okay, birthday number 9. Here we go.
Okay, she's just left the Great British Bake Off. It's
right.
Dame Prue Leith. Oh, hello.
Oh,
Dame
Prue
Prue
Leith.
Leith.
Yeah.
7-1.
Yeah.
Exactly. The last time I saw her, she was on a beach in France catching some rays. It was great to see sunshine on Leith.
Nice. There we are, one for you.
Oh, what a song.
You a fan of the Proclaimers?
I think this is the best football song. It's a hip song, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Best football song.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Well, that's a 0803717. That's quite a
Had
bold.
that planned for you, Andy, just in case.
That's nice, yeah.
Let's be honest.
Andy's never heard the song, has he? Have you heard the song, or you just?
I have, yeah.
Oh,
of
okay, fair
course.
enough.
I'm a big fan of the Proclaimers.
So, who's about Prue
I
Leith?
walked 500 miles to see them.
Yeah, yes. She's getting on a bit now. That's why she's stood down, isn't it? It's taken it out of her, I think. I can't remember making it up.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
No, obviously.
I know she is and why she's retired. Oh, yeah. I spoke to Prue. Says really taking it out of her.
We tried to get her on the show at Cheltenham.
Yeah, we did, yeah. Oh, her agent said, no, Prue's busy, I'm afraid. Yeah, we took against her in the end, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Took against the agent.
Was that the man from the Prue?
I think it was. That was a woman, actually. So you make a value judgment, Jeff. Sexist. Women can be agents. I'd say she's 89.
Oh,
She don't look it.
she doesn't, but you're going to go just one from me, aren't you? So
No.
I've got to go.
Well, you can get, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm not going to go. She's 102.
No.
I can't go that far.
You've still got another birthday to go. You haven't got to do it now. We're only into number 9. You haven't got to.
Yeah, but I've got the first guess and I the next one.
No, I'll have the
Whoever's
first.
in
Oh,
the
you
lead.
had the first one. Oh, okay.
So there's no skullduggery.
Right, okay, right. Got you. So I'm going to go 86.
Oh, standard 86.
Oh, Perry.
What happens there?
Banbury
Perry,
cake.
You stay on 41
yeah.
with that direct hit. Paul is 3 out onto 32, so the gap is 9. Paul guesses first because he's in the lead to avoid any skullduggery.
Yeah.
And then, Perry, basically, you've got to go 10
either way. You've got to go 10 either way.
Yeah, thanks for that, by the way. I did do my maths O-level. So thanks for your going ex-footballer.
You did it, Perry.
You can't count.
You might have done your maths, but did you get it?
C grade. If you
Oh, okay, that's not bad. Not bad.
Better than
Fantastic.
me.
Basically, you have to take your
Three
shoes and
fails.
socks off when you're counting. So okay, here we go then. 10th birthday, Andy. Andy needs a sip of tea before we get into this one.
I do, yes.
Yeah.
She's the first woman to be a law professor in the UK.
Wow.
It's Claire Pally. Claire Pally.
Oh.
And she's just opened an alternative venue for darts with TalkSport's Coisty. I can't wait to see the World Championships from Ally Pally.
So the first woman to be Claire, though, is not. I mean, no, that's not true. Claire Bloom, she would, she'd have been 100, wouldn't she, or something? So it's not necessarily. I'm sorry, I'm sounding like Trevor Brooking. Say Claire Bloom. It's not even who we're talking about. Say
First woman to be a law professor in the UK.
Okay, I'd say. I mean, things move quickly, slowly in this. 76.
So now I'm higher, lower,
You wanna be
lower. Higher, no,
66
higher,
or 86?
No. I'm going to go Professor 66.
Oh, bring in Ron Regals.
Oh, no.
She's 95.
95.
What might spend a
So
young?
easy.
See, but no, it's not because just because you're a professor, I don't mean to say you're old, does it?
No.
You can be a young professor.
Yeah, I mean, she could.
So stereotypical, Anne, that is.
Yeah, that's true. We've had sexism, we've had ageism,
professorism.
It's great.
She was the first woman to be a law professor.
Yeah,
so
but
it's going to be quite a lot. 1970. It was going to be a long time ago.
Well, was it? I mean, sorry, I'm whacking my microphone in anger at the world of law. So what's that? What's the final scores?
It was all there.
So you were 19 out on that one and finished on 51.
Yeah.
So Perry said 66, so he's 29 out, and 29 and 41 equals 70.
Well,
so
another fine performance.
I was in it until the last one.
I will cut out the housery. I'm not even know
No,
I'm
I
doing
quite
it.
like it.
Oh, okay.
No, it's all right.
It's more
Spurs,
fun.
Arsenal.
It's more fun when I do it. So that's a good omen. Good omen for Spurs.
A little bit edgy.
Good omen for Spurs there. Maybe we can get that draw. Thank you, Andy.
Pleasure.
And thank you, Jeff.
Cheers, boys.
See you soon, guys.
And thank you, Perry.
Pleasure.
You'll be back.
Pleasure all mine.
You're back. You're doing some live football for us. on
Yeah, I've
TalkSport
got
this
Wrexham
weekend.
Ipswich on Saturday. Brilliant game in the Championship. You know, Ipswich trying to get promotion in
Yeah,
the top
that'll
two.
be a
Wrexham
cracker.
trying to get in the playoffs. And I'll be at Palace Wolves on Sunday, which is a 2:00 kickoff.
And you'll be keeping an eye on the North
I'll
London
be
derby.
driving back, listening to TalkSport, listening to Crookie and Sam.
I'd say enjoy the game, but wouldn't mean.
No chance.
Cheers, Perry. I'll catch
You
up with
too.
you soon. Thanks very much. Thanks for your company this afternoon. Coming up next, it is Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent with Drive.
Good evening and welcome to the Sports Bar on TalkSport. Jamie O'Hara, him over there, Jason Cundy.
Has anyone seen Arsenal's 2-goal lead? Be 2-goal lead. You're 2-1. Hell of a beating Gunnosaurus kiss. Oh, but do me a favour. Order a